All right, morning everyone. How are we doing? Hope you all had a good weekend. Let's move this down so you can see it properly. There we go. All right, morning. Before we go any further, make sure you've done your prep work. Make sure you've put in your key levels. Make sure you're fit and able to be sat here trading this morning. It's going to be a volatile market this week as we've got lots of news starting to move the market. So let me have a sip of this. Okay, so overnight, they took the vote, back to work, the government go. Also, they said, lots of stuff coming out this morning saying that vote might not hold. So, if we get that kind of news midday, you might see this market give back the move. On top of that, when we think about the economics of it all, great, you go back to work, fantastic. What does that also mean? Well, all those NFP and CPI prints, which we haven't had, we're going to get them. We don't know when, but they're going to have to put them out. And I ask you the question, what if those prints are terrible and they drop them all at once? All right. So I am not uber bullish in this market right now. I'm also not uber bearish. I can look at this market quite practically and say, okay, we've had a decent pullback off the all-time high. Maybe not as much as I'd like to see, but it's a decent pullback, 6.5%. We've pulled back into an old volume area. We've pulled back and held the 50-day, and we have to make a decision. Historically, after a year like we've had, the final 2 months, November, December, are very, very bullish. We normally close at highs, but like we keep talking about, this is not a normal market, and I would argue right now, you have multiple time frames trying to make that decision. Here's your high, here's your pullback. Here's the trend before that. All right, so holding this, it is possible we still can fail and retest at least this low or somewhere down here or even lower if it really wants to let go of this. It is also possible the complete opposite happens and they go, hey, this was enough for us to take the bids. We like the news. The news comes out, NFP, CPI, etc., and it's positive, and we're right back at these highs, which were not made in New York again. So all these things are possible, which means for me, location and momentum is important. Well, I wouldn't say location for either side is good right now. We're right at the mean. Top bowl, lower bowl, 20-day. 5 days there as well. So 50% chance it goes this way, 50% chance it goes this way, just based on standard deviation. So location, not ideal. Momentum, well, also not really ideal. Okay, we are still have trap buyers up top. We still have this gap. We have faded down with lower lows and higher highs, but we've come into a weekly and monthly pivot. All right, held the quarterly pivot, came back up, and it's possible it can still make a lower high and retest. So when will I start thinking, okay, bulls are taking control? Well, first of all, it's got to take out some key levels, which it started to do. But second of all, it's got to hold a higher low. Right now, all we've done is squeeze. I need to see it hold a higher low. Now, ideally on a daily, but yes, on an hourly, etc., we'll be fine. A higher low over this volume shelf here would be pretty good for a move back into this gap. I'm not going to be trading bullish up into here because there's lots of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 lots of daily traders stuck up there. All right, so if we're going to play bullish, I'm going to need a higher low somewhere in here. If we fade underneath this and get stuck, well, guess what? We're going to go and revisit some of the areas where those bulls came in on Friday. And if they don't like the news and we start getting rid of all that, then, if this takes, let's say, 2-3 sessions and we do something like this, I wouldn't be surprised to see that kind of move down there if we're hanging out here towards the end of the week. So lots to play for here. It's a Monday morning. I'm not looking to go and get myself in pain to start the week. All right, so let's go through here, make sure you can see it all. All right, so big rally Friday. We did catch that in Discord. All right, had to come into this congestion area. It went a bit deeper than I thought it would, but here is where we had the overlaps, all right, of value and POCs. And, it had the chance to stop sort of at this one. It didn't. So it came and tested all these naked levels down here, and we found value down there, and it was also a quarterly pivot on that old contract, or the start of the new contract. So squeeze up and then overnight news. So what are we doing right now? If we zoom in, let's not make this more complicated than it needs to be. Where's previous week's value? It is here to here. So there's your previous week's bell-shaped curve. Where are we? We're about midpoint of that right now. Where's your previous day's value? Your previous day's value is down here. All right, we actually left previous day's value at the low. So we're pivoting over Friday's value, but we're inside previous week's value, and we've got another strong level up here. All right, I would not want to be a new money bull into this. You are literally asking to get absolutely walloped, because you've got bulls trapped above, bulls trapped in it, and I would expect a reaction, negative reaction from there, even if it's just the pullback, which then holds to go higher. So we don't want to be getting long into 650s, 670s. All right, we don't want to be long into this cluster. Where is the best location long? Well, if they can hold down here into sort of 320s, all right, if they want to hold that gap, all right, I want to see it build out of liquidity, then we can play the long and be looking to take partials up into these levels. What is this? You can go away, mate. And you, what are you? Is that current price? That's current price. Okay. Okay, so those are the options for the longs. What about the shorts? Well, obviously, because we're in rotation in terms of a weekly, right? Just remind you, in terms of a weekly, we are opening up in rotation. We're not outside the previous weeks, so we can trade from edge to edge within this weekly. Obviously, the edges are further, but we have a cluster here and a cluster here. So there's rotation can be built out here between, let's just call it 650 and let's call it 650 to 350. It's still 300 points of range. That's a huge amount of range. So possible, look above, fail, rotation into there. Very possible if you want to take that short back down. Possible long from there if it holds back up. Right, beyond those levels, if they're not going to do fail breakouts, if we start doing this and holding, then obviously we're very, very bullish. If we start doing this and holding, then obviously we're bearish back down to the edge of the range, back down to the top side of the range, right? So these extremes are going to be important. You have to understand right now we're opening up midpoint of the previous week's range. We are gapping up. We've left bears trapped at the lows from Friday, but we still remain with bulls trapped above. And we can just measure out previous week's range. All right, we're right into that 61, so between 50 and 61. So location is not ideal right now. Unfortunately, folks, that's just how it is. All right, so we're not going to fight the tape. We will look for edge. You know, if we get a look above and it fails and we trap buyers into this move up here or even above any of this, then we can play the fade back down into value. If we come down here and we trap sellers at the lows and we start to absorb, then we can play the long back up, right? Edge to edge is probably what's going to pay today, unless they turn the booster jets on. But you can see even here, the 20-day and 5-day are just playing sideways, as is the 200 on the 5-minute. This is a fairly contested area now. All right, that is your midpoint based on multiple time frames right now. That is your midpoint. You've got to be careful. All right, be very, very careful. Okay, lower time frame stuff now as we start to make our way through. Okay, nothing to do here. We've gone through all of this, but let's look at some of the other charts. We're going to a 5-minute. A bit chesty here. Okay, these are old levels. Ignore these. All right, that's your congested level down here. We have a gap, same kind of story here. Stops live here and here and here. All right, contested level would be that sort of 6,840, I would say. Potentially all the way up to 6,880, but I would be thinking that as we move into these, they will start to get a bit stuck. If they start reclaiming above 40s and 50s, all right, if you see ES get above and hold, yes, maybe there's a bigger squeeze coming, but I would imagine right into here, first attempt back into sort of these levels, you'll probably find some sellers, and the question is down here, can it put in the high low? Very much like what we talked about in the Qs. All right, same story in the spiders. You can see it's really clean on the ETFs because you don't have all the after hours. But basically, what you'd be asking is, can it hold above that? Is this a gap and go, or is this a gap and fade back to a midpoint and then maybe a go? Or is it a gap and crap? Is that a gap and crap? We need to have negative news come out, I'd imagine, for that. All right, Dixie. This is where it's getting very, very tricky. It's this and the bonds, and if you're looking at the junk bonds, those as well have been a key indication. All right, frothy from the top, starting to pull back in line. Healthy for the market, but starting to see some divergence between the Dixie and the market. Want to be careful with that. Gold starting to see the rotation back in, right, suggesting that the Dixie might pull back more. But again, same thing with gold is the same story that we've got. Buyers trapped up here, buyers trapped up here. It would need to reclaim that. If it starts reclaiming that, I think then we see further selling in the dollar and maybe the markets can push. If gold starts fading this, then maybe they're rotating out of gold again. But at the moment, I would imagine gold has a okay push into end of year. BTC, same kind of story on the daily. All right, this has been leading indices a little bit, but this is a bit like that Nvidia play earlier this year. All right, fail, look out, look above, failing below. Does it reject where we've just failed from? If so, it's moving lower. If it reclaims, then a potential squeeze to the other side is on. MAG. Let's get through these a bit quicker. All right, starting to see gap up again. Come on, wakey, wakey. There we go. Apple, remember, had relative strength last week. What I'd say is if they start rotating back into chips, maybe that the trend right now has been rotate out of chips and AI, rotate into Apple, save space. Rotate out of Apple, go back into the chip. So it'll be interesting to see what they do here this week, given the news from Nvidia saying it's seeing increased demand for its new chip. But yeah, can be watching this gap up on Apple. But again, I mean, you tell me, is there much edge here? I don't think so. All right. I don't think we have a trend there. I think we have a liquidity building process. So I wouldn't be touching that today. I'm holding my 202 longs. But that's it. Amazon, that's a bit better looking. All right. Look above and fail. 1, 2. Same kind of story here as NQ. Can it hold a pullback to get back to those highs? That's a better looking chart right now. If it can't hold the pullback and this starts to get choppy here, then you've got a bigger move to fill this old gap. Goog. So Apple flat, Amazon gapping up, Goog gapping up. That's a good gap. Same kind of story. Still in a range. All right, look above and fail. Look below and fail. There's your range. But you can see if we bid outside of 85s, maybe bullish for that move back up. If we offer below 77s, maybe a bigger break. All the time we're in here, liquidity building phase, but gap up on Goog. Meta. Trading View just doesn't want to play today, does it? There we go. Gap up on Meta again, finding some strength off the lows, but I wouldn't be too uber bullish, right? Remember, this has got absolutely dunked on earnings. Due a rebound, and have to see if sellers come back in anywhere up here. All right. So again, very similar to market. Due a bit of a squeeze out, have to see, but it's had relative weakness. It is trying to hold a higher low in here. You would think it would get stuck here. You'd probably need a bit of a, if we squeeze out, probably needs a deeper pullback. So very much like the Qs. Can we hold like an hourly higher low? But again, gap up on Meta. Gap up on Microsoft. Same story here, coming back into the Thursday sell point, Friday sell point. This is like a 61.50 to 61 fib. Can we come back in and hold a higher low or not? Nvidia, how are we doing for time here, folks? Am I running out? Very, very close to open. Gap up on Nvidia. Tesla, same story. So all of the mag gapping up, looking pretty strong this morning, but I wouldn't be too uber bullish. Okay, it's a big gap overnight. I want to let this settle down like we talked about. Maybe we have a look above and fail this morning and trade back into range. We will see. All right, no times for good mornings this morning. I'm sorry, folks. I hope you're all doing well. And let's see what we get. So all of the mag, big old gap up like we talked about. Probably get some busy transactions here, and I'd be watching. What did we talk about? Sort of the 650s. Do they sort of drive anywhere into here? Where's that old previous week? Anywhere into here? Do they drive into here and fail? And then we might see the start of the pullback, and then we'd be looking for a sort of an hourly higher low anywhere above 350, basically. So 650 to 350 can quite easily be range rotation. If we get exuberant today and we start just pushing above all of this, then obviously there's no fade back down into range, and it's have to wait for liquidity to be built out for us to join in on. Let's just see what you guys were all expecting today off that poll. Pretty split today. Look, almost 40% wanting gap and go, 35-ish% wanting chop, 27% gap and fade. So it's there we go. But you don't think that's being priced in already, my friend? We're 400 points up after they've talked last night about the government reopening. You think we're going to do another 400-500 points up off them saying we're reopening when we've said it last night? I'm not so sure, my friend. We price in ahead of time. Lots of buying got trapped up there so far in that opening drive. We haven't seen any selling this morning. It's all aggressive buying so far. All aggressive buying so far. Bookmap already moving around too much to see on the screen. Okay, here we go. Just letting this settle down. We're above Globex so far. Remember, we are gapping up 400 points already, folks. If you're thinking we're going to go another 400, 500 points based off them saying, hey, the government's open, I think we've already priced that in. Just be aware of that. We price in ahead of time. We already had that news. It already came last night. It's why we gapped up. Let's just see. I'd be more concerned about the data points being released. If they actually do open, give me those 2 NFP prints that we've been missing. What do those actually look like? That would be my concern more than anything. $26675 area from newsletter. I mean, it's a big level up here into the previous week point of control. It's not an automatic short though, Peter. You know, if we start ripping through it and basing above it, it will be a level to long off. But yes, is there supply above there? Absolutely, we have supply above there right now. But it's not an auto sell. But it's a level of interest. All right, it's a level of interest, like we talked about on the newsletter. Each of these levels, which keeps getting reclaimed by bulls, gives strength to bulls if they can reclaim them. More buying, aggressive buying at the highs here. Lots of aggressive buying at the highs here. Exuberant market right now. Can give you a readout on the mag. Tesla 2.20% up. Nvidia 3.33% up. Microsoft just under 0.5% up. Meta 0.89% up. Google 1.78% up. Amazon 2.33% up. Apple 1.10% up. The bonds, though, we did talk about this. I didn't get to go through them. They are also up. Bonds up, Dixie up, market up. Sound good? Not to me. Sounds like divergence starting to play out to me. All right, back to Globex here. Definitely some buying delta getting stuck up there. But do they just hold Globex and push? Probably. Like I said, I'm not looking to transact in this area. I think we're in a little bit of no man's land. and we just have to let this calm down. Long, I mean, you could try and long off this if you wanted. It's not the type of thing I'd be looking to do, but we are holding the New York VWAP. Bring this down so I can actually see what I'm doing here in my anchor on. Lots of buying up here, lots and lots of aggressive buying up here. They are still trying to force this up. Okay. So into these 600s. Again, no position for me, folks. I'm just being honest with you. I'm waiting to see what we do. I'm looking at like the daily and the hourlies. Remember, I'm more focused on everything else. On previous week point of control currently is up at 25, 675, 680 ish. That's a level of interest for me as we get up into that previous week point of control, and how we react there becomes important up into here. Maybe we don't even make it up there. Value is above that. The shelf really, I would say, starts at sort of 650. You could argue it starts at 614s, but I think we get thicker. We definitely thicken up a little bit at 615, 620, but we really start to get thicker at 650. VIX down at 18 right now, into no man's land. What was this guy up here? What is this? 25605 building up there. 800 lot. I don't see him. Let's see. And this guy here, I'm looking. What is that? I don't understand how that's transacting right now. That's weird. That looks like an error on Bookmap. I don't know if anyone else can see that. Let's see what happens when we get up to this. Is that just liquidity being provided walking up? Yes. That's really odd. I can't see that on the book. Bizarre. Okay, through the 600s. Still just waiting here, folks. Again, I didn't want to be a buyer out the gate here. Location not ideal. Momentum pretty good upside, but you'd imagine they will start to get stuck soon. I would have rather be buying dips today than buying overextensions into these kind of areas, but hey ho. Morning, everyone. Morning, Eva. Nice and slow here this morning. All right, I do have a little bit of supply on my Ninja Trader as we trade into these pivots from, what day was this? Is this the 6th, 5th and 6th? Yeah, sort of Asia and London lows. I think that's from the 6th. 5th into 6th. Yeah, 5th into 6th. So Asia low, we've just traded into. London will be 27s, just above. But really, I want to see what happens in the previous week POC. That's where we get really thick. And 650s. 650s into here. Not too far away now. Only 5 minutes into the day, so you got your 5-minute opening bar. Those of you who play the 5-minute orb, you've got a 5-minute bar at least. 10-minute bar now. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Holding that expansion above the first 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So what do we do on this 5? Do we expand and create a huge 15-minute orb up into this? Very, very possible at the moment the way it's looking. So expanding through the next 5. Is there much hanging about above liquidity-wise? There are some sellers into 7s. Not too bothered about them right now. Okay, starting to see some bigger transactions here into 20s. You can see here on the tape, big buying into it. We actually had some aggressive selling there. I think he gets taken out here and we keep drifting. Again, 50s into sort of 70s and 80s is the level of interest for me. So we have some sell delta up here at 21. Not much excess still, I would say, and still clear target above of what they want, which is 50s to 80s up into here. There we go. What are you guys talking about in chat? I can't keep up. Someone's scamming you, is it? Is that what I'm seeing? Deep chart. Got you. So I'm buying Delta, just got caught on that last shove. All right, above 20s. Again, no reaction yet, but I'm just telling you what I'm seeing on footprint. Still don't think we've got enough excess. Still think the target's fairly clear. They're trying to get all the way to previous week POC. If they can. That's what they're trying to do. If they can. Little bit of selling here. Six tens being absorbed. More exuberant buyers coming in. Another attempt by buyers to get through those last lot of buyers, not getting through them yet. So twice now we've had buyers get slightly stuck at the highs, but I still think there's a clear level up here that are trying to get to. If they fail here, then a flush to VWAP would not be unheard of. Obviously, you've got the whole number 600, which you could look at. We have pretty much moved straight up into the top of this 15-minute. You've got 1 minute left. Again, UK just blowing up my phone early morning. The market now 460 points up. Starting to get into these areas of interest, so 650 to 680. If they start basing above that, then I think, well, all bears would be in big problems, but it's going to be really hard for us to join long because all we're doing is driving big upside, gapping up, big drive upside, and nothing else to get involved in. We need pullbacks if we're going to get long into this. I'm not going to buy into supply. It's just a big no-no. Okay, 15-minute opening range now set, folks. just straight up. We haven't even come back to flow zones. It's just they're just being silly at this point. Ooh, we're going back to work to release bad data. Are you okay? We can't wait to release the bad data on you all. Okay, so first top of this supply up here, it's the first level of interest. It's still possible we go for previous week point control at this point. Oh my god, they're literally bidding everything. This is like Friday afternoon. Non-stop bid on the tape. They're market buying the highs and then they're absorbing every dip down. It's crazy. Can't be short on this, that's for sure. Not right now. You'd need to see a big shift and change, and we're not seeing it yet. It might well come in the afternoon for that pullback for us to then think about getting long into. But right now, there is not a lot we can do with this. Yes. Oh, yes. We're going to give everyone $1,000 to $2,000 checks from all the money we've made on the tariffs because we're so rich that we're $39 trillion in debt, increasing about $3 trillion a year. But let's just say we're rich. I'm not going to give you news on who we're going to give this money to or any what would we call it? Data about it. We're just going to say a headline. Oh, we're going to give money. It's very, very typical, Donald. How do we save and squeeze the market? We cause exuberance. Okay, first transaction here starting to take place. A little bit of a battle here. Can they at least come down to VWAP? I mean, this is just, it's got silly at this point. Can we have a bit of reasonability? Back down to the opening range here. Did catch buyers at those highs again, but again, every time we've dipped, it's just been absorbed. It's been very shallow being absorbed, so it's making me think I'm not going to be able to get involved today at this rate. Everything's up. Bonds up, Dixie's up, market's up. Healthy? I think not. I think not. VWAP right now sat down in these 600s, which is interesting. And more absorption there again at that current point of control or in front of it. We need a solid pullback here, team. We need a big wash. Sellers coming in now, first time today. Can we get down to VWAP? Is this just over exuberance, which is what I think it is? And then how do we act afterwards will be what's key, really. The shelf being built out here into tens. I want to see how we act down here. I want to see how we act down there. Still not interested. I still know. So we did the first job, which was coming to 650s. We talked about supply starting at 650s. They can easily come all the way up into previous week point of control. All right, I want to be a buyer, but I don't want to be a buyer up here. All right, so what we need is a stronger sell to offer us the opportunity to buy at key levels. I don't want to be buying into supply. All right, and there was nothing to do this morning. Straight up, there's nothing there of interest for me. All right, so into this level now. You can see passive bids on the tape down here at 600s and below. So they failed 650s. Strong selling coming here. They failed those 650s and we've gone straight down, leaving this volume now. So how we transact now into 613s becomes key. Reclaim that. We're going to go for previous week point of control. Otherwise, we're drifting all the way down into this. I'm going to get rid of this at this point. Oh, man. We're going to go straight up, straight down moves today. There was Delta caught up in there. We did talk about it. Over 640. We did catch buy-side Delta at those highs. Just look at the tape up here. It's not mental, though. It's not crazy size. Okay, so back to VWAP. Remember, it's a straight squeeze up this morning after a big gap up. 400 point gap up. We're now 430 points up on the day. We pushed as high as, I don't know, almost 500 points up on the day. How we act into here will become key. So far, they're buying that dip. Big sellers coming in at VWAP, getting trapped so far. And you might see their pain point now start to be ripped higher. So into point of control. This is the battle now. You have some buyers caught up here. We faded away. Sellers will want to protect this if they're looking for that rotation. Buyers will want to do this move here to complete the move back up all the way up to point of control to previous week point of control. That's what they're trying to do. It's not an easy market this morning. Like I said, the momentum and location, multiple timeframes, not fully in alignment. But bulls are in control. That dip was just absorbed. Let me have a look at the cues. Spiders also absorbed that dip. Yeah, SPY finding a bid on its VWAP. VIX trading sideways. So battleground now, like we talked about. I want to be involved, but this is a shallow pullback, and we have just failed 650. Some very 550, 650. No, 650. Right, we have just failed 650, which I'm aware of. So they're trying to get continuation lower here, these sellers. Like I said, I think we're in range rotation, and I think we'll be in range rotation for a couple of days until we can set an hourly higher low in a New York sessions, until we can pull back. Maybe sort of that 430 level down to 350 level might be interesting for an hourly higher low. But we will see. Bulls have the momentum. They just haven't set a pivot yet. Not too interested in this market at the moment. Good rejection of point of control there. Mag's still holding up well. Now, do they start to reclaim POC and VWAP for that squeeze back up to the highs is what I'm wondering at the moment. If they can pivot back over hit this, they're going to go for here. If they keep failing POC, a rotation as possible to fill all these imbalances. But if they start reclaiming 613s and flow zones, basically any move back over, obviously it's not let me draw, any move which sort of starts pivoting over this volume here, they're going to look to complete the rotation here. It's not the ideal buying scenario, but that is what they're currently looking for. If they keep rejecting POC, then I'd watch out for a big flush back down to Globex and New York Open. So this is a sensitive area right now. Very sensitive area. We know above here is where those buyers got stuck, right? They're trying to reclaim. So it's very hard here. It's interesting for a long way. It's the worst location to play, unfortunately. But if they're going to hold it, they can put in a high low over this red line and reclaim this volume, they have the ability to try and get up into this, which is what I think they want to do. If they fail this red line, then we fail this volume shelf. We leave buyers trapped at the highs, a deeper wash down to here. It's a very, very, very sensitive area. Very sensitive. You can see they're battling over this area. We haven't even done a two-leg pullback yet, so they are battling and battling away. They go. Here they go then. All right, so interested if they can start pivoting for a move back towards high of day and then previous week POC. 20s here sensitive. Through this, we can go 50s pretty quick. It's whippy into these 20s. Very whippy. Very, very, very whippy here. Buyers got caught at those highs again. I might wait a minute here, folks. I'm not convinced yet. It's very close to taking an entry there at 13s, but those buyers just got themselves caught at 20 to 24 there on the tape. I might just give this a minute, and you know what? A minute might be too long, but I'd rather be safe than sorry. It's trying. It's really trying. This is where these buyers keep coming in and getting stuck into 20s. So you can see market buyers keep coming into 20s and 25s. There must be a passive seller here because they're not able to move through it. Now, if once that guy moves, I think we go 50s pretty quick, but there's still a chance of a lower high here to be set. It's a very, very, very sensitive area. Once we get through these, I think we go for a new high day pretty quickly. Yeah, passive on the tape here for sure. Absorbing this. We get through here and we're going. Here we go. 27s. We're going, we're going, we're going. I'm in. Looking for this long now. Let's go, baby. Let's go. Don't get stuck here. Don't get stuck here. Paying myself a little here and then looking for expansion up into here now. Really nice. Just took a minute. Maybe some of you caught it when I was waiting to see if they did it. But now we've pivoted over. We should take this up and use these stops to get into here. So just playing the momentum in front of us. Pull back to flow zone and VWAP. Pivoted back over point of control. TP1, TP2. Looking really good, folks. Really, really nice. Just had to be a little bit patient for that passive seller to get out of the way. Lovely. Fantastic. Nice and patient. Not the ideal location to be buying, but we caught the shorts at the lows. And once we got that squeeze, became fairly obvious. So your next TP is previous week point of control 680s. And then all the way into here if you get lucky. Really nice. Well done, team. Well done, team. Make sure you're paying yourself on the way. All right, because remember, we are now 475 points higher. You do not want to be buying high of day. We are into supply here, so we just need a little trap. I'm taking profit here. I'm just holding runners. If we get expansion, great. If we don't, that's okay. We know that this is supply. Please don't buy the high of day up here. Hopefully that all made sense. I had to just wait for it and watch it on the tape. That 20, there was a refresh seller there at 20 over and over and over again. And once he got out the way, like I said, once he gets out the way, we will squeeze through him. Here we go, folks. 50s, big level. And then previous week point control, 75 to 80, basically. Let me see where it is. 70, I think I've got it at 79 is the actual level. Here we go. Here we go. So you want this pullback to hold this shelf now at 40s. Any pullback that holds this, then we look good for this move into here. Well done, team. Well done. We had to be patient today. Like, how long did we wait for a trade? Almost half an hour. It was worth it, though. 25 minutes. It was worth it, just to make sure. Just to make sure. Nice work, everyone. Nice work. Come on, baby. So runners only. I want to see that shelf at 40 hold. Don't want it to fade under 40 now. That RBS zone where we've built volume, I'd want that to hold. It's possible it comes back down towards point of control. I will not be holding my runner down to here. So this shelf here at 40 needs to hold where I'm out. Like I said, if you want to hold deeper into 20, by all means go for it. I'm not going to be doing that. Almost knocked me out here. So I'm at 37s is my actual level. Wicked me. I'm at 37s. How have you wicked me? You've not traded into it. Now you have. Okay, I'm out here, folks, on the runners. But like I said, it might want to come down and hold this volume here. I just don't want to sit through this because we trade. Well, I joined a little bit late. Can I draw it for you? TradingView's being very irritating today, removing my drawing tools. Right, it might want to rebalance like this, like we just talked about. This might be the move. But because I joined a bit late, waiting for this guy at 2025 to mess around, I don't want to get knocked out break even. I'm trying to just take my money off the table. So we get this move up, we sell into this push. And if they hold this, if you're willing, if you had a better entry than me, maybe you absorb down here. All right, all the time they're holding this volume here, this is possible. But you definitely, where you do not want to be long is up here. No new longs down here, up here. And if we start breaking below this, all right, then this rotation here becomes possible. All right, so we're just playing the momentum in front of us. There are buyers caught at those highs again. That did have more excess on it. That last push up here had more excess on the highs. So buyers have been caught there twice. I'd say above 42, they're stuck. Everything above 42 has been aggressive buy volume. Definitely above 50. So just be aware of that. If they fail to reclaim 42s and 50s, then you're going to see sellers take over in the short term. Catching up with chat. Sorry, folks, I haven't really been able to read the chat here this morning. I've just been concentrating on the order flow here this morning. I do apologize if you've been asking questions or if I've missed something. Just type them in chat again and I'll read through them when I can. Big battle going on here. You're seeing huge buyers coming into the market here. So 272 lot, followed up by 64 lot, and we've not moved higher. There was a passive seller there who then pulled his order. All right, he was offering at 40. He's pulled his order, but someone is definitely sat there refreshing on the offer because we're not moving higher right now when they're trying to bid. So sellers have definitely started coming into the market up here in supply, which is not surprising, is it? We know this is a level of interest for sellers. W to start the week. Yeah, same, Peter. Small W to start the week. What am I up? 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, like but just under 2 grand. Just it's nice and small. Like I will not size into these moves. So that you understand, is this an A+ long? No. Does it make sense of a long? Yes. Why is it not A+? Because I'm buying high. So I'm just playing momentum, so my size comes down. I'm playing the momentum in front of me for a move higher, but the size comes down. Where would I have been A+? Well, A+ longs were Friday afternoon once they finished selling that we took in Discord together. Those were A+ longs once they got caught. I forget who it was. Make yourself known. Who was it that banged out a 10 grand trade with me on Discord on Friday? You took it all the way up to the New York Open. I forget who it was. One of you did. One of you caught a big $10,000 winner. There you go. Noah did. Yeah, beautiful trade that was. Really, really well managed. If you'd held to the after hours, Noah, you would have got your pivot because it went through as well. But I wouldn't have held to after hours either. Tradeify issues. I cannot place any trades. Really, I'm not having any issues my side, and I'm trading Tradeify through Ninja. Okay, so you can see this battle here, this volume being built out here. This is the battle. Bids will... Guys, I'm going to ask a question here. I might sound really stupid. Is there a shortcut key? I think I've hit a shortcut key where my Windows bar now keeps coming up and getting in the way of my tools on TradingView. Is there a shortcut key where I can move the Windows bar up and down? Project X has been bugging out for 2 weeks. Do you know why? They have not rehired since the guy left who did the coding, and they haven't even changed their session time. So since the clocks went back, nothing's changed. So surprise, surprise, that piece of crap software doesn't work. Like I said, I would never advise you to trade that. I've had a go at it. It used to be okay, but it's got too many bugs, has maintained that way, and it's owned by a prop firm. I think that's a problem. All right, aggressive buying coming in. So they're trying to protect this node here. They've successfully done it. I would expect 1, 2, 3 drives to complete up here. Yeah, I've got an issue here with my... what if I press that? No. So my Windows tab at the bottom keeps bleeding over into TradingView, so I'm struggling to get to my tools. But yes, you're still holding here. Big squeeze up, pullbacks, view up, flow zones held. Buyers trapped above here, pullback, that's another higher low. You're still in this channel right now. Right, you're holding good. There was a battle here for a few minutes, but buyers came in, and I'd expect to squeeze out at this point. But like we talked about before, everything above 42 was buy-side volume. So 42 and definitely over 50s is buyers trapped. So unless you reclaim 42s and hold, you need to hold above 42s and then squeeze through 50s to let those buyers out. Control plus / right, let me try it here. Control and where's my / no. Oh, what have you done? Are you joking? You've killed me. What was this? How do I get rid of this? Did you do that on purpose? How do I get rid of that now? Why are you all saying no, bro, when you just said that? You've killed me, man. What have you done to my trading view? No, it doesn't undo it. I just tried it. Just had to refresh. There we go. You guys taking the piss out of me. Now I've lost all my levels. You motherfuckers. You've absolutely ruined me there. I've lost all my levels now. Okay, thanks guys. Thanks guys. Whoever told me to do that, I won't trust chat ever again. I thought you guys were nice. I've lost all my weekly I've lost absolutely everything now. You assholes. Absolute assholes. I've literally lost everything. I've got to redo every chart now, which means I can't teach you or trade. That's fun. Okay. Sunday. Did you guys do that on purpose? Tell the truth. You're going to have to give me a minute. It's going to take me a minute. I can't believe you guys would do that to me. That's so mean. I'm too trusting. Never again. Never again. Okay, that's previous week done. Lucky I've already had my trade for the day, otherwise I'd be very upset. It's okay. I think it was an honest mistake. I think you was an honest mistake. It's all right. Okay, I've got to do previous day now. Give me a second, folks. Give me a second. 9:30. No. POC, not you. Come here, you. Okay, let's save that before you guys convince me to do something again. There we go. All right, we're back. We're back. We're back. You bastards. It's all right, Tony. I think it was an honest mistake. Thank you, mate. I'm not pressing anything now, guys. There's no way I'm pressing anything now. Okay, so previous week point of control up into here is probably where you're trying to get right now. If you're still holding bullish, it looks good. All right, still making higher lows. You're going to have to pay yourself on these pushes. You've had 3 drives now. 1, 2, 3. Maybe you get up into there, but we know that's a big old block up there. Big old block up there. Yeah, I missed nothing. I'd already stopped out on the runner, so it's fine. Yeah, I know. Like I said, it was I think it was actually an honest mistake. Like I said, it's not a big deal. Don't worry about it. I'm just playing. So's Adam. Bodum in stream is also playing. Don't worry about it, guys. Spaceman BTC levels. I prefer drawing it out so that I know I can trust them, especially with my value levels. All my daily levels print by themselves. My value levels I like to do by myself. We do have an indicator in Discord which someone has kindly provided and made, but here we go. So here's the push. They want that POC. They want that POC. Mag's still pushing everything very, very, very bullish. Oh my God, I got absolutely slapped. Sorry, folks. Let me just check my swings. Ugh, I'm going to cut you. All right. First loser on the year on the swings. Tried to hold on to it. I could give it more room, but OSCR. Cut you. You got slapped, I'm guessing, on... Let me get rid of you all. You're gone. I'm not going to hold on to you. We don't hold losers. I had so many chances to sell that for profit. Tried to give it room. But I was only ever starter in it, which is good. So all I've got left now is AMD, Amazon, and Apple. I need to start some new positions. Yeah, I see him. Yeah, I see him 207 lot above. And you can see some selling front running that. You have had 3 drives now. We have that big supply block, that red block on our screen. That is where buyers are trapped above from Thursday last week. So if we start getting above that, we are thick basically into 800s, but there is a wick into 820s, and then you get like another little volume node up there. I'm just looking at like the hourlies. But I would imagine as we get up here, we are going to need a pullback. Look, we've gone straight up since the open. Right, and I actually want to buy like way down here, which is obviously not becoming possible today, but I don't want to buy up here. So we bought the pullback which held, and once we saw that 20 seller get out of the way, but obviously I'm not going to be a buyer into supply. Think about location. All right, zoom out. All right, even on a 15-minute, let's just zoom out. All right, look how bad this location is. Best location, Friday. Best location, you could argue, on the open on Sunday, 50% pullback into the gap. We don't want to be buying into where these guys are stuck, all right? Remember, these guys are currently stuck. These buyers are stuck. This is why we don't want to be buying into them. Now, if we reclaim this, right, the best thing to do would be if this offers a buy and then we reclaim for this, okay? Then we have a buy location, a buy location. It's possible we keep going up here and do this. That's not what I want to see. Like, yes, maybe there's a buying opportunity there, but we want to see these bulls get washed out before we go back upside. We want to be buying discount on a good location as momentum starts to flip. We don't want to be buying up here where people are stuck. Or at least I don't. I don't like buying high, and we've had a high buy already, which is probably the best pullback of the day. And if you held that and sold into that last push, you look good. Maybe you're still holding. I am not. I'm done with it. On your Ninja Trader order flow video, what settings do you recommend for trade order detector? Block or price? Oh, are you trading NQ? What do I have it set at? I'll tell you now. I have it set at 50s. 50s. So minimum volume marker 50, maximum marker size 50. I don't really pay too much attention to it. I personally, I'm using Bookmap more and Footprint more than that, but it is useful. Yes, block. Big volume coming in here. Buyers stepping back in here, trying to squeeze back up towards previous weak point of control. Big volume trying to step in here. Still got that seller at 660. Still got that seller at 660. Still waiting for Take Profit Trader to pay me. They've been a bit slow recently. It's a little bit annoying. The passive seller here trying to walk the tape down at 40s. He's going to get taken out. There you go. He's been taken out already. It's a bit of a battleground here, folks. The reason I've just sort of gone quiet and not too fast is I don't like the long location here. I think we can still potentially squeeze higher. I'm not trading long location. My RR does not make sense to be continuing to trade long after 3 drives higher into supply, which has failed. Do I think we can go previous weak point of control? It's possible, but I'd be more interested in a short back down to clean out some of these guys, ideally into here first before that short happens. I think that could be potentially a good trade. We just wait. It would be counter trend if we take it. It would be counter trend. It would just be forming the pullback leg on like an H1. And then I'd be looking to buy dips. So right now, I'd say that pivot around 450, 430, that is of interest to me. So if we offer a pullback, I know it's 200 points, that is of interest to me. So if I can play short down to that, that is of interest to me at the moment. Going back to VWAP here. Some stronger selling trying to come in. Back to VWAP we go. Remember, they can attack these pivots underneath. It's very, very possible. Here we go, VWAP. And opening range today was what? 97, so we can call it 600. So our range right now is down to 600. If we let go of that, there's a move back down into New York Open. But right now, this is where we accumulated the buys from first time round. So this is a sweep underneath. We'd expect accumulation here to move higher. Again, I'm not going to play these longs anymore today. I think I've given it enough of a chance, and we just wait. Require a little bit of patience. Do I recommend copying trade on NinjaTrader or something like TradeSync? I don't recommend TradeSync. I don't recommend anything web-based personally. Currently, I've just started using. I haven't done a video on it yet because I've only just started using it. I've started using what is this called? Affordable Indicators Trade Copier. So I will do a video once I get comfortable with it. But what do I like about it? You can set daily goals. All right. So first of all, it knows if the account's an evaluation account or a professional account or funded account. You can set daily goals on it. You can set your daily loss on each account on that. And it knows if it's trailing. So you can, for example, if you were trading one where you have consistency rules, you can set your daily goals so it takes you out. Even if you're trading multiple together, if 3 of them have consistency rules, it takes you out of those 3 when it hits its daily goal. It's pretty smart, but I haven't got round to like using all the features on it. But that's the one I'm using at the moment. If you're interested in that one, I think there is a sale with my code FCT. I don't actually know, but I'm pretty sure there is. But yeah, I don't advise using anything web-based personally. I think it's very dangerous using something web-based. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, with the Apex Trade Copier, yeah, you can still use multiple firms, mate. It's not just Apex. So if you wanted to trade, as long as with Apex, you would need to have them all logged into Ninja with you. But yes. Affordable Indicators is the company. I can show you what it looks like. Where is it? Yeah, so you can just select which ones you want, like this, and then you select like it will auto liquidate from funded, daily goal, etc., etc., and you can just rotate them. So you can also have them grouped. You can also, it's very clever. It also has, I don't use it, but it has a fade mode. So if you wanted to buy 20 Apex accounts or 40 Apex accounts, and you were going to play an NFP print and you wanted to do 20 long, you can have the other 20 set to fade to go short the other way. So the guy that built that's pretty smart for understanding what people want. But again, I haven't used any of these features. I only started using it like last week. Do I have a video of how to data feed Bookmap through? No. I pay, so Bookmap, I pay for my data feed. So I think you have to pay for data feed on Bookmap. I don't think you can do it through prop funds. Maybe I'm wrong. Big battle here just started happening. Big seller just came flying in. So it's a battle up here, folks. I'm leaving this alone. Like I said, I'm not interested in the longs. I think the longs want to complete the rotation to previous weak point control. I'm not interested in playing it. The risk reward up here does not make sense for a continuation higher. They've got Delta stuck currently at 50s. All right, so you got a Delta spike at 50s. Now you've got more Delta stuck at 49. So Delta starting to get stuck there. I still think they want to complete the rotation higher, but I'd just be a little bit cautious here. If you're still in this long, I've taken my profits for the day. You can't get it to work. Well, the Apex copy, it definitely works, mate. I've used it before. Definitely works. Use Mac, but I'm wanting to buy a Windows computer just for NinjaTrader using parallel. Yeah, don't use parallels, mate. That's what I did way back in the day. The law 305. It's so juicy that you'll get lag. So definitely, when you can afford to, when you've got the money to, I would advise moving to PC. Otherwise, I would probably be playing off web-based platforms if I was you. So if you're on Mac, just trade on Tradeify or something like that. It's not ideal, but it's probably more ideal than using parallels. Parallels is pretty juicy. If you're going to run parallels and Ninja, here come the buyers stepping back on the tape. Big market orders here. This is all buy side. Everything above 65 now is all buyers. There's been no sellers up here. And they're going to try and complete this rotation like we talked about up into here. This is where they're trying to get up into here to this point of control. Any reason why you don't copy trade on Ninja Trader? I am copy trading. I'm not sure what you mean. Like I said, I use affordable indicators when I copy trade. It all depends on the setup and on the accounts and what are due money and what aren't. I'm not going to always copy trade all the time. Not convinced the highs in yet. There's the bull trap. I'm not convinced yet, Dex. I'm not convinced yet. There was some buying at the highs, but I'm not convinced yet. POC on that last candle was 63. We've just reabsorbed again. Like I said, I think we're still. This is the aim of the game right now. This is now the protected low. This is where buyers are holding, right? This is what they're trying to do. And, you know, if they want to complete a pivot over it, and if we use this as a range, yeah. So good confluence here, and if they do a measured move, 700s. Yeah, I'm not convinced that's the bull trap up there yet. Not yet. It's an area where it could happen, but I've not seen enough on the tape yet to make me think that's the case. If we start moving away from it, maybe, but I'm not quite convinced yet. I mean, at 660, we caught 129. That's not many, and it's not that far away. What did we catch above that? 662, there's 181 caught. I'm not convinced yet. Not yet. Maybe you're right. You might well be right. Thank you. Oh, so I didn't know that was part of the Ninja Trader. Appreciate all your advice. Oh yeah, so on Ninja Trader, there's no copier built into Ninja Trader. So you'll need to get a third-party copier. Sorry if you didn't know that. So in Tradeify, it's built into their web platform, but you can only trade groups, and I think you can only trade one prop firm at a time. But if you use a third-party app, there's loads out there. Replicanto, Apex has one. Like I said, Affordable Indicators has one. You can use the web-based ones if you trust them. I don't trust anything web-based, but there are ones like TradeSyncer and Tradecopia. And then you can trade all your prop firms together. But Ninja does not have one built in. Yeah, guys, I don't blame you. If you've not taken a trade yet, I don't blame you. It's been a squeeze and drift higher. That's all we're in. Location's absolutely awful for New York session. I mean, you'd have to be very confident of a breakout here. I mean, in a range, there's your break one, break two. I mean, playing breakouts, this is what I don't like to do. All right, I don't like to play breakouts when value is here. All right, okay, we've broken out, but where's the best buying opportunity? It's here or here. It's not up here. So playing this here, for me, is 300-400 points too high, but it is what it is. It's worked, and those buyers are getting paid. But I'm not convinced anything's changed that much until we can set a higher low on an hourly or daily. Just like look at the daily chart right now. Think about where we're coming into. Where are you guys? Can I get you up? Give me a second. All right, all we're doing is repricing into where we failed from. Was that on Wednesday? Wednesday. So we had Tuesday fail, Wednesday basically traded inside New York, Thursday fail, Friday fail, back to this point, right? When do bulls take over? Well, they'd need to set a higher low somewhere in here, all right? And then reclaim this, and then we're off to the races. But until that point, it is very possible that any move into here is sold into at some point. Because you would expect, even if we're going to be bullish, you would expect moves into here to probably be sold into to set a higher low to go higher. All right, so we're expecting at some point in here, we're probably coming down here. What I would not expect is this market to go, nah, we don't need to pull back. We're going straight away to highs. Can it do it? Of course it can do it. It can do whatever it wants. But I wouldn't expect it. The usual way of moving higher would be what? We're going to at least set a higher low. Even... Sorry, I've drawn that badly. All right, we're going to expect at least that if we're going high. If we don't see that and sellers just take complete control, then what are we having here? It's just a pull back inside. There's your trend, maybe a little peek out, and then back to these lows. And if we do that, back to there. So at some point in here, there's probably a short. Whether that's a counter trend higher time frame or ends up becoming pro trend again is yet to be decided. But I don't want to be longing where I think there's an opportunity of sellers coming in, which is identified by this red box. I don't want to be longing up here. It's very, very dangerous. In my mind, in how I trade and how I personally trade. Yes, initial balance now set. Thanks, Noah. Good eyes. This purple line, IB now set. It's a big old IB. Considering we gapped up. Right, no, still got another 141 points in the IB. So we gapped up 300-400 points. We set another 141 points in the first hour today. And we are creating a P-shaped profile right now, which is very, very bullish, right? Imagine this was on the other side of your screen, all right? But so far, this is a P-shaped profile. Now, when does this become bearish? If we leave underneath P-shape and come back to here. So last week, we've gone from a B-shape to a P-shape. If we think about this down here, all right, I wouldn't necessarily call that B shape, but because we had odd distribution on the way down, but we've left this and we've now created a P shape. So this is buying back up right now. And we have to see when that finishes for the move back down. Still holding POC. Do I keep an orb on the chart after IB is ready to use? Yeah, you can see it, like, I don't pay attention to it. But it's this white line here. White line, and where's the top of that white line? Can't see it at the moment, but it's somewhere. Oh, it's in this red line. That's why I can't see it. It's currently POC. But yeah, the orb stays on. I don't pay too much attention to it. Once the orb's set, so we've had an opening range breakout. We've gone upside. Now we're trading into the initial balance. And now I'm like thinking about what the IB is and who's stuck and where. The indicator I'm using doesn't change for the recent time change, and my IB is 9:30. How do I change it to 10:30? Are you using my indicator, bud? If you come in here and go to inputs, it would be in here. Time zone, you'll just need to find time zone. I had to change mine to -5. So some selling, some selling. Starting to see aggressive selling on the tape here. And we're just creating a range up here. This is some balance up here. So like I said, they defended this. I would say, where's this edge here? Here is current range, right? And they're rotating between this. That's what you're playing today. 40-point range. That's all you're playing today. Leave this range, we go below. Protect this range, they can keep trying to drift up. But you can see it here. And most of it is right in here. Most of the volume today is very tight in here. How do you draw your profile? As when I draw a fixed range profile on last week's, my previous week point of control is 25,705. I just draw it from the open of the week to the close of the week. I mean, you're there or thereabouts. There's not much difference. Think of it as a zone, right? So I wouldn't worry too much if we're out by 20, 25 points on a week which was like 1,000-point big. I wouldn't worry too much. Yeah, no worries, Andrew. Glad that worked, bud. Yeah, Jappy, it might be that it could just be a discrepancy by how I've drawn it. It might not be you. Let me see what my Discord said, because they have an indicator for it. Previous week POC 25,675. So they're near what I have on the automatic indicator, which is given in my Discord. So I think I'm there or thereabouts. So one of us is probably out by a tiny bit, but I wouldn't worry too much. It's an area, right? NQ will probably overshoot it anyway. It's just think of it as an area, a bit like support and resistance, supply and demand. It's an area. Think about volume. Like we know point of control on the day is here, this red line currently developing point of control. But if we think about this area, it's a bit bigger, isn't it? All right. So if we want to say our point of control is 640, well, I'd argue point of control is really 646 down to 635. Does that make sense? It's just an area. We can't be too accurate when we're like, oh, it's going to hold this exact level. Well, NQ can easily drift through that and easily hold above that. And what dictates that? Volume, and volume on the book. It's the participants on the book that really dictate that. Yeah, definitely change. Yeah, if you do yours on a 5 minute, it will just be slightly different to a 1 minute and 30 minute and etc. etc. But if you're there or thereabouts, guys, just use it as a guide. It's okay. Don't use it as like the exact level. It's a bit different to a previous day high and previous day low. That is an exact level. The stops will live above and below that. When you're looking at point of control and value, it's an area aggregated by a whole session, whether it be a weekly, a New York session, a daily session. So we're judging volume then. So it's a bit thicker. Whereas when you're going previous day high, previous day low, it's an exact level. Hopefully that makes sense. Morning, BU. How was your weekend? How was your weekend, buddy? How's your kid doing post graduation? How's the job market? I imagine it's quite tough at the moment, from what I'm hearing from family members looking for jobs. It's pretty tough out there, but hopefully they're doing good. Okay, back to POC. Rotating in that range, like we talked about. There was only selling on this last candle. It was all aggressive selling until we got to the low of the candle. They're trying to bid off now. So again, no trades here. It was that one trade. We played that upside for one trade, and that's all I've done so far. Nice and patient. Do me a favor, guys. Smash that like button for me. I did start recording the new volume profile and order flow course. I will try and get it done before the end of the year. If I can get it done before the end of the year, I will do like a flash sale for you guys. So people who are already members will get it super cheap. And then people in YouTube, you'll have like a week to get it at a decent discount. And then it'll be full price from next year if I can get it done before the end of the year. Got a job at FedEx and got a promotion. Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. Happy days. Still seeing selling here. So aggressive selling starting to come onto the book here for the first time today. But still, they can still protect this volume down here, can't they? All right, so, but we did sort of talk about 3 drives. You might start to see this sort of roll over a bit. All right, but these pools of liquidity here are going to be key. If buyers defend this, we just keep rotating. If they let go of this, we rotate between these two. If they let go of this, then we'll leave all the buyers up here trapped and we'll rotate down, or we'll bear trap underneath and come back upside. So for me, it's going to be a patient day. I'm not expecting too much. Back down to the VWAP here. VIX starting to try and find a bid at 18s. I'm watching that VIX into New York open here. Yes, Sloth, everything will be on it. Everything will be on it. I can tell you exactly what I'm going to go over because I've got it planned out here. So first thing would be like a little recap of auction theory. Second thing would be going over the order types. You understand aggressive and passive. Then I'll do make sure you understand volume profile. Then after that, where am I? Looking at volume profile on different time frames. Then we'll do Bookmap. Then we'll do Delta. Then we'll do footprints. Then we'll do SNR using auction theory. And then we'll go over my exact playbook using this. Not longs. What about shorts? You're looking for shorts, Jack? I mean, I don't hate shorts, but you haven't seen a shift in structure yet. So here's your structure so far. That was the first failure to put in a higher high. You're just trading around this key level right now. So if there's going to be a short, where's it going to attack? This area of volume here. So if you're playing this short, you better be covering into this and then hoping you get down to there. If you're going to play that short, that's your TP1 and this is TP2. If we leave this volume, then we can rotate lower. The only thing is they still haven't taken this. But if we're going to go in an IB rotation day, we're going to go IB, VWAP, and then down here as possible. But yeah, I just think we're building out a range up here right now. So for me, it's not something I want to play. If we overextended, right, if we did this, all right, and we create a new structure up here, then I'd be interested in the short inside. And if we let go of this, then I'd be interested in this rotation. At the moment, this just feels a bit choppy to me. I'd say doesn't need a pullback, probably. So like we talked about, probably there is a short coming for a move back down to rebalance some of this H1. So let me have a look at the last M30. All right, since the open, if we're looking at volume on sort of 30-minute bars, you would expect sort of 600, 610s to hold. If they fail 610s, we're actually pretty thin. We're actually pretty thin under that. So under here, we're pretty thin. Under here, very thin. This is getting to overnight levels. But here you go. So here's the pullback from here to this so far protected low. If they let go of this, they're going to trade into this pool. Remember, this is where we bought this morning. Right? This is the level that they're trying to protect. Right? I think there's rotations happening in here. So we've gone rotation down, up, back into this pool, back up to the upside, failed the upside, back down to the downside. I think you're just going to see rotations happening in current value. I'm less interested in this on a Monday. But it doesn't mean you can't trade it, Jack. So back down towards value on the day. Let's see how many buyers we left at the highs. Let's have a little look. This guy definitely got left up there. 471 lot. We got like 500 or 600 left at the highs. And we are starting to break down. See all these sellers came in here. I don't know if you can see us zoom this along. All these sellers that came in here. As long as we protect 640 to 650 is where these sellers have tried to take control. But previously, they got stuck down into sub 600s. All right, so let me bring Bookmap up bigger for you guys. Hang on, folks. I'm going to have to move this down so it's not in your way. Okay, let's look here. All right, up here, this is where the buyers got stuck. All right, so you had 343 lot into 50. 286 lot into the same level, just above 50. 530 lot into 60, and then a few more, and then sellers have taken over. All right, and we've started to pivot below. Here is where they've taken over. If they protect this, they're going to look for a rotation to where they got stuck. So they're buying up high, selling down low, buying up high, selling down low. We're rotating between these key levels right now. So I'd say as long as you protect 40s and 50s, sellers will try and take out these pivots into 10s and 600s, basically. And then you'd expect buyers will try and step back in if they're going to hold this sort of P shape today. If they let go of it, watch out below. But I'd imagine they will try and protect it. So how would you see that on the chart? Just that first failed attempt to move higher here. Buyers are trapped up here. Sellers have taken control at point of control. Here's the drift down to this and this. You got to be taking profit into this and this, because this is where sellers have been stuck and buyers are protected. So if they protect this, where do we go? Back to the midpoint. So this is your range. Look, here's your range. Here's your midpoint of the range. So if you faded that, it's not the worst move. It's just that you'd have to risk this to get here. So it's sort of like a 1-to-1. If you get beyond that, fantastic. And we know buyers have stepped in here today. Here's the low volume. All the time they protect that, the rotation back up to here is possible again. Except for me, we've gone into range rotation. That's what I'm seeing today. There you go. So protecting that low, and then going to go back towards that midpoint and check towards that POC. And sellers will need to protect 40s to 50s. If they don't protect 40s to 50s, then we're going to go back through it and we're going to drift back upside. And this is just showing you it's a range rotation, right? So understand the market conditions. Inside, initial balance. Inside, current value. Inside, structure. This is your range right now. Right? Failed here, move down, back towards here, maybe retest this. If they grab this, back to here. If they get acceptance over here, back to the top. If they fail that, back inside. You get the point. It's trying to show you. If you look left, it's trying to show you. So acceptance below range, move lower. Acceptance above range, move higher. In range, edges, right? Trading edges to edge, edge to edge, edge to edge. You're not expecting too much. Holding runners in case you get acceptance below, but you trade edge to edge. Just at VWAP right now. Can give you a little readout on the mag. So as a equally weighted index, they're up 2.25% today. Tesla 3.87% up. Nvidia 4.15% up. What a recovery. That's annoying. Microsoft 1.42% up. Meta 1.62% up. Google 3.19% up. Amazon 1.38% up. Apple 1.19% up. Yeah, contort. I mean, that would make sense. I wouldn't be confident necessarily in a singular direction based on what we're seeing. Sellers are attempting to take over here, but we're coming into these sort of key pivots. I'm just going to use the bathroom here and I'll be right back. All right, darling. Okay, back down into this protected area. So if you took this short, congrats. Make sure you are paying yourself. Supply holding up. Back down into range. If you get really, 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 really lucky, they let go of this, but I would expect them to try and absorb down here. VIX now looking good. Everything's looking good. VIX starting to fill its gap back above the New York Open. As long as you're paying yourself, you'll be okay. Sorry, I've got to write happy birthday message to my best mate, 40 today. Okay, here we go. So if you get really lucky, you come to the other side of initial balance now. So all these buyers at the high starting to get trapped now. Here comes the walk back down towards Globex. And what have we got underneath this? Delta starting to come heavier now. Sellers starting to take over. Back down into an old imbalance down here. And maybe if you get really lucky, you get a VWAP. We're down towards this Globex level. VWAP down below, initial balance below that. I'd be watching this New York Open. If we start letting go of that, there's a much deeper wash. So I think it was Jack that was getting short in this, which looks great now, Jack. As long as you've paid yourself here, mate, because you've started to leave range, which is great. This is the best possible scenario for you. Short here, pay yourself into the edge of range. We're leaving range. Buyers now trapped up above. This is the perfect... yeah, bathroom break always seems to work, doesn't it? Perfect thing that you want to look for, as long as you're paying yourself down into these levels, right? Lower time frame algo, VWAP, initial balance. If we get underneath the New York Open, I'd be somewhat concerned for the bulls because they're going to get themselves very, very, very caught at that point, aren't they? So VWAP here, some aggressive selling here. VIX starting to move. And we're getting down near to that New York Open now. All right, and if we trade under New York Open and underneath initial balance, it will be game over. You would expect there'll be some covers here into VWAP for a little bit of a bounce here back up because we've gone from IB to VWAP. But how we act under here into New York Open will be key, like we talked about. How we act into this New York Open is going to be somewhat key now. This is very, very strong selling. Yeah, congratulations, Jack. That's a nice trade if you took it. So bathroom break means short and refilling coffee means long. Yeah, it's kind of worked that way recently, actually. Funny you said that. It has seemed to be that way a bit more recently. Trump now meeting Syrian president. Okay, so just be careful. Who knows what will be said? Who knows what will be said? So into that VWAP here, you'd expect some relief here. We got very, very thin, like we talked about, and you expect some relief to reprice some of this. And we have left those buyers trapped at the highs so far. And if they remain trapped above 600, then there's a bigger rotation all the way down into these levels. All right, it's possible. This was an exuberant push up, but I'd imagine this is a good cover point. And if I was short today, we almost got A+ trade. If we come into here and then fail, that was A+. We're leaving this volume here. This was probably a good level, but very risky into the edge of this valley. But now we come down to that. I would be covering most of my position here. I would not be expecting this to necessarily fail below New York. Now, if we fail under here and build out liquidity, then we can attack down into this range. If we're going to do a look below and fail, then we're going to do a classic initial balance day. Yeah, just a rotating market. And this is the higher time frame pullback we talked about. If you look at the H1 chart, where's you guys? Going to get you up. All right. Failing into this is why we're saying we don't want to be long into these guys here. Failing into that, starting to see the pullback. I'd say these pivots here become key. Does it hold these pivots for the move back up? Or is this simply going to start doing this the rest of the week? All right, so how we act into this guy here and this guy here is going to be somewhat key, I would say. Where do we get thick? Little node into 5. 550 to 500, and then thin down to, let's call it 390. So 550, 300, and then thin down to 390. Here come the sellers. VIX starting to spike here. Market starting to pull back. This is your New York Open. Flush this, you get your IB low. So I don't know if guys like Tyson have traded this today. What a move! Really nice move. Soon as it let go of volume, that was very quick. Soon as I was in the bathroom, we let go of this shelf and straight down we go. Yeah, I know. Literally, as soon as I went to the bathroom, the Alex indicator. It is true. All right, IB low coming up here, and if I was a bear, I'd be covering between now and 500, and then if you got lucky as a bear, you'd get sort of 430s, 450. If you were lucky as a bear, you'd get 450s and all the way back to the gap. But I'd be covering now if I was bearish in this, or at least covering some of my position. We're just back down to the New York Open. That blue line on your screen is where we opened today. So all we've done is squeeze up, trap bulls, come back down to a level of sensibility. And it's very possible we come all the way down into here. But 500, somewhere in here is a big level. If you think about all these guys, did any of these guys get run out overnight? No. So maybe we come back down into this pool. So in fact, we can draw that out for you guys. Where's the low of this pivot? Yeah, 500, 504. If I was there, I would have taken it. Yeah, maybe. It hasn't been A+. I'm going to be honest, it's not A+. Like, this was failing to move higher, which was your first sign, but I really would have liked to have seen that and then this reject and then that. I might have put small size on, leaving this volume. I don't think I'd be sized for it, though, I'll be honest. But yeah, I would have added some money for the day once we broke this. Here and here. And I would have paid myself some into this, some into this pool, New York and view up, some into IB, and the rest into here. I don't think we come down here today. It'd be absolutely amazing if we did. It's not been a bad day so far. You got a new hourly bar coming here in 2 minutes. Yeah, exactly. I mean, I was waiting for the POC retest up here and then to see them fade it, but they protected it. So we have to think about this now. Like, what are we actually doing? We're just trading inside the previous week's range, right? And we do start to get thicker around here. If we look at previous week's range, we do start to get thicker around here. We've got like a little node where we are now, and then it thins out under 500 all the way down to 436 to 400. So I'd say now down to the low teens in 500s. And if it can't protect that, there is maybe a move lower. And the next shelf starts. In fact, I'm going to draw it on, because this is like more based on volume. Let's have a look. Let's get you accurate. This is what I had on earlier, but I've obviously lost it all. Let's say this is volume. So this blue block here is the edge of volume. And if they don't take that, then 430s is possible. Buyer's getting absolutely wrecked now. Here's your IB play. All right. Here's your IB play. So we're back underneath New York Open now. There's a little node here at 510. So if we're going to do initial balance rotation, we're going to do a look below and fail. Just think about that. If we're going to do initial balance rotation, we're going to do look below, fail, come back inside of IB again. If we're going to wash, then you've got 500s and then all the way down here. And then we want to potentially be buyers down in this region, even though it's outside of IB. Ideally, that's the move for tomorrow, ideally, not today. But like we've seen on Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday, I'd say were big enough moves for 3-4 days. Patrick, nice, well done. Yeah, all of you who took the short, well done. It is what it is. Wasn't at the desk, but it makes sense, doesn't it? We leave volume, we move down through the thin structure. IB now key, and what we do now next now key. Like I said, I felt like this morning's push was a squeeze and over exuberant. Like, oh, we're going back to work. Oh, sorry, darling. Oh, we're going back to work to release terrible numbers, probably. Tyson got most of it. Nice, mate. Yeah, I was hoping you were in it because I know that is your trade, the initial balance rotation. That's it. Low-hanging fruits. Most of the low-hanging fruit's gone. The only next thing to trade into is these pools. You got previous day high. Globex low is all the way down here. And then the gap, right? Sunday gap 300s. Can't rule any of this out. Can't rule any of this out. You are starting to see strong selling at the lows here. Be careful. Be careful. If we get too strong a selling at the lows and they don't move lower, that will mean there's a passive buyer on the tape. But VIX is really starting to get going here. VIX starting to motor a little bit here. And did we just trade into 500s? Yeah, just a little look below 500s there. So I'd be watching IB on reclaims now. And otherwise, if this wants to keep drifting lower, it can keep drifting lower. It's absolutely welcome to. So if they reclaim IB and reclaim New York, there's probably a squeeze back through there. You do have 24-hour view up there as well. But I'd be watching that. If they reclaim those levels, there will be a squeeze out through those levels. Watching up here now. Big transactions between big players here. Where are we coming to on the weekly? We have a pivot down at 458. Let me just, I want to measure this from Friday's low now. That level there, 178. That's into no man's land. Don't want it to go down there if we're going to be bullish. If we're going to be bullish, I would say it's got to start holding either the low 400s or the 370s to 300s. If it doesn't hold those, then I think bears take over, and this was nothing more than a squeeze out, which gets sold. Right now, you're below initial balance. No reason to look long in this right now. But if we start reclaiming, yes. If bears get trapped at the lows and we start reclaiming, absolutely, yes, there's a reason to. But right now, we're not seeing a reason to. Watching the IB. Watch IB, watch New York Open, watch VWAP. All right, those are your over-unders right now. All the time under that, bears can try and remain in control. We start squeezing through that, we can rebalance all of this low volume that we just sort of ripped lower on. Here's the attempt at IB. Seller's still present up there right now. Buyer's just got trapped trying to look for that move. VIX starting to get stuck a little bit. Yeah, back at the 20-day. We're not quite there for me. So for me, I'd say 20-day right now, 476. 5-day, 447. 200 on the 5-minute, 468. So Very, very interesting levels in that sort of region, let's say. But we are very thin. If you look left from Thursday last week, this is where we dropped straight down. We lack structure here until we get to 437 to 400. All right, we lack structure down here. Sellers coming back in. So those buyers who are trying to bid on here, they just got washed out. Now we're selling lower. Big exchange down there. Again, no reason to be a buyer until we reclaim these levels up here. If we're going to go in range rotation, it's going to have to clear these levels. This is where they're trying to get it back into at the moment. This is sort of your first stop-start level of interest for bears now to cover. But if we reclaim IB, New York VWAP, then obviously we can move back into the thin structure. But so far, just think about what's happened. Bulls got trapped, high of day, right? Bulls got trapped, high of day. We've moved away from those bulls that have been trapped. So they are in pain right now. We are continuing to move lower. Everyone who's bought since New York currently is in pain. That's how you just need to think about this. Everyone who's bought since New York currently is in pain. There's big exchanges starting to go on the tape here. Like I said, I think we're going to get whippy action this week, back and forth, because we're trading inside previous week's range, which was very big. Very, very big. VWAP starting to flatten out as well. I feel like I've missed opportunities here today, unfortunately. VIX still going. Still finding a bid on that last pullback. Its pivot is currently into 1880, so it's got higher to go if it wants to. I'm going to watch IB, New York, and VWAP for reclaims if I'm thinking about that counter trend move back upside. I am interested if we start doing that move. It could be fun because we got very, very thin on the drop, but let's see. Reclaiming 500s here. IB, that's what I'm watching. If we reclaim all this for a squeeze back out to that New York VWAP. So if we reclaim IB, I think there's potential for a complete rotation back to the other VWAP, because that would be a look below and fail of IB. But we're going to have to reclaim IB and New York Open for me because they're very, very close together. I think that is possible. Watching carefully, watching the book. Lots of buying coming in here. Don't want these buyers to get caught up here. We know they've got to continue to squeeze and reclaim. So delta flip here. Buying, trying to take over. Sellers caught those lows. This is good so far. Not quite there yet, but it's good so far. I think through here, this move up here is possible. Have to be careful into this sort of level here. We get condensed here, but sellers caught at these lows here. Delta, delta, delta flip into here. If we hold above this, I think this is possible into here. Starting to look very, very good. So here's your IB test. This is what's key now. Here, New York Open VWAP, this is what's key now. These levels are key. If they get through this, a squeeze is back on upside. So it's all buy side volume so far. You actually need sellers to come in and then buyers to take over at this point. Otherwise, we go straight back down. So protecting IB for now. Still no squeeze over it. All the way back down like we just talked about. And this is where they would need to hold these buyers. Was that old POC? 500s. 500s under over. If buyers protect that and reclaim IB, we probably go squeeze. If they can't hold 500s, then new low of day, I would imagine. They are trying. They're trying hard. It's a battle. It is a battle. Okay, buyers trying to protect that 500s that we just talked about. Let me zoom this bookmap in a bit so we can see. Oh, this is a huge battle here at the teens. Here we go. Here we go. Here's IB. Can we get continuation? I'm in this long now, looking to see if we can squeeze. Needs to get through IB, otherwise I will cut instantly. Passive seller at 30s. Once we get through this in New York, I think we can get squeezy. If we can get through this level here, this is congested. So I'm long from here, from teens. And if we reject here, I will just cut it. But if we can get base above here, I'll start adding into it, looking for a rotation back up for the initial balance reclaim and go. So it's counter trend. I mean, oh, it's not counter trend. It's just range rotation. It's an initial balance rotation. I want to be careful here because this is all buy side stepping in here. But we have left sellers trapped at the low of day. And we did have good excess on that. Everything beneath 90 is sell side caught. This last move was an imbalance. So now I'd want us to hold 12s. Around 12s. If we hold 12s, I'm willing to sit in this. For that rotation back up. We want to be careful in case a big seller comes in and just slams it. But as long as that doesn't happen, I think we can get a squeeze out. Here's initial balance. Can we get through this towards New York Open? And then the first VWAP. And then through that, I think there's a move right back up into where we have some thicker volume up here into 600s. So you can take a TP here if you want. These are tough trades. Range rotation is tough trades. 30 is a big outlier on Delta. So 30, 35, 36 are huge buy-side outliers in Delta. As we start to move through those, we can take back over because buyers were trapped there, and that's what sellers were leaning against. So here's 30s, through the 30s. So 36s now. And the next big level was 40s, 650 volume-wise at 40s. So huge levels here. Here we go. Here's 35s like we just talked about. Through this will be a squeeze through VWAP. This is your New York Open. You can pay yourself some here, folks. It's a huge, huge level. And if we can get through these, we can start bidding up towards that value and the other VWAP. It's a big if right now. This is a huge level to compete over. Huge, huge level. So far, they're selling into that New York Open. Left an imbalance at 12s. Cannot see this go below 12s. Below 12s, big problems for the buyers. Below 12s, big problems for the buyers. Because we're rejecting New York here. So like I said, this is congested area. This is the level. They don't hold this, new lower day. They don't hold this, new lower day. Okay, failing to hold. I'm out. Give it a chance. Can always get back in. Huge imbalance both sides now. Oof, ugly. Huge imbalance both sides now. If you just knock me out to go back up, I'm going to be very upset with you, market. Huge battle here. Thin both sides here. Thin both sides here. And if they do protect this to go lower, then they've got this as a destination that they want to aim for. They have just rejected VWAP and New York Open here. No doubt about it. Squeeze above that, fade below it. That's your over-under. That's what they're playing against. It's tight. It's tight because it's a big battle because bears know if they let go of this and buyers reclaim, they're in trouble. Buyers know if they can't reclaim this and they've just been bidding on all of this, then there's a move all the way down to here. So this is the battleground now. Not convinced there's an edge at the moment while they build it out. The fact that the Bulls didn't hold those 12s doesn't look good for me, I would say. Like I said, I'm out, but that's why I'm out. And sellers right now are stuck underneath 91. So that's your battle right now. Help setting the anchor view up New York, please. I have it set to session on TV and it simply won't anchor yours to 9:30. Just click on anchor view up and just put it to the 9:30 open. That's all you got to do. Just click it to the first M1 candle. That's all you have to do, buddy. So we have a sell side imbalance above 520 right now. That was all sell side, 520 to 529. Battle, 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 battle. Huge battle. This is a huge battle, folks. This really probably sets the temperament for the rest of the day. We reclaim, we're probably going to go rotation up to here. Fail to reclaim, we're probably going to go all the way down here. So let them battle it out for a minute. We had a go at it, and we didn't get the move. So you have to be like understanding, okay, well, they didn't do it. They failed to do it. And they're failing to reclaim IB. So if they keep failing IB, we're going to move lower. Simple as that. They keep failing IB, we're going to move lower. VIX finding a higher low here at the moment, which is not good for this market. Buyers again, they're caught over 16. So they tried to get over those 20s to fill the imbalance, got stuck again. I'd say right now, this is very tight. Buyers are stuck over, what did I just say, over 16. Sellers are stuck under 90. So this is battleground between 15 and 90, basically. 25, 15 and 90, 25-point battleground. And whoever wins this gets probably quite an explosive move outside of it. Remember, they can come and visit these if they want. Back to the 500s. VIX still holding that higher low. Doesn't look good right now for bulls, I would say. Doesn't look good for bulls right now. More sellers stepping in. I think these bulls are about to get hurt here. If they can't reclaim, they're going to get stuck. Bulls trying again. They've got to get back over IB and New York Open. If they can't do that, they are going to get themselves stuck. They are attempting to do it again. They have to get back over IB and New York Open, and then they can maybe look for this move. Value keeps moving down, but I think there's a retest of sort of 612s, well, definitely 590. But that's what's available. If they can reclaim this balance up here, they're having another go. Watching it carefully, because every time we've visited up here, there's been a passive seller on the tape just saying, no, you're not coming back through. We don't want you back through. So just watching this now before I even consider a rejoin. Remember, flow zones are pointing downside. We're still underneath initial balances. Can be two leg, which fails very, very easily. This is the battleground. But if we can get acceptance through it all, I think there's a move back up towards the old view up, New York view up, and maybe this shelf up here for a bit of a reprice. But right now, it's not proving anything to me. Here come the bulls, another attempt. They keep trying to be aggressive here, and there's definitely a passive seller here because they're not moving violently through when they're trying. They are attempting to do it. Where do we get thicker? 20s. They cannot move through 20s right now. It's where we keep getting thick. There's a seller at 550 trying to show himself. He keeps juggling, keeps moving, so he's a spoofer up there. Here we go. All right, IB here. Key now, what happens next? It's what happens next that matters. Not through it. They sold into it again. They've got to get through IB, these buyers. That's what will give them the failed auction. Right now, every attempt into purple lines being sold into, isn't it? So no reclaim of here, then no push higher. That's what it's telling you. That's what's telling you in the chart right now. Sellers are saying, you're not coming back inside the initial balance today. We want you lower. That's what's happening right now, and they're going to try and sell down to here until we can reclaim it. Strong selling here. Very strong selling here. Back down towards lower day. And we've been here quite a while now, so volume will start to be built out here, just like we did at the highs. I still think we're going to go into a rotational day today, but maybe they need to look further below. But this will start to build out like we did here, and then if we get the break back, we're going to just trade between these two core levels, I think. But let's see if they can rotate down into this at the moment. So far, sellers taking control. Initial balance. Initial balance holding up. Buyers had the chance to do this, failed. Selling down towards lows. If we break lows, we're going to come into these pockets here. Yeah, hard to trust much right now, I would say. Why do I keep getting huge news things going off on Financial Juice? Who's talking? The Fed member started yapping. Oh, yeah, look at this. Mirren and Johnson on CNBC. Shut your gobs. Oh, we want to be heard. Okay. What have we got underneath? Is there much? No. Still in this range down here. Buyers still trying to hold on here. VIX still looking like it's trying to do a higher low for a pushback up. Sellers still, for me, right now, probably have the edge and control in this market in the lower time frame. Probably have the edge in the lower time frame right now. That will change if we reclaim. But right now, that's what I'm seeing. This is starting to feel like the other day. Every pop-up is being sold into up here. Every aggressive buyer is being met with a passive seller. Starting to feel like the other day, folks. Just saying what I'm seeing on the tape is starting to feel like the other day. There you go, aggressive selling. This is it. There's a seller on the tape again. There's absolutely a seller on the tape again. I would imagine we're going to a rotational market, but who knows? If there was someone stuck last week and we've come to a level where they can now get out because we've squeezed up so far, possible. They're trying to sell hard here. They're trying to sell hard here. Make your mind up. We'll do something fun once you guys have stopped faffing around in your tiny little shelf that you're building again for 40, 30, 40 points. What a bore. This is like the last few weeks, like volume, direction. Volume. Are we going to just go direction or back up? But it gets boring, man. Like this is pretty boring. You know, like this isn't normal. This isn't like, oh yeah, okay, nice pullback to sell into. Okay, yeah. Oh, trap and then we go lower, or like trap lower and then this is just like people stuck. So we get big moves quickly and then stop. Big moves quickly and then stop again. Big moves quickly and then stop again. And I feel like this is the market we're going to be in for quite a while. I mean, VIX is still trading at 1850s. We're not in like the 15s and 16s. We are in the high teens. Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Definitely Roscoe. But then after the liquidation, do we ever retest? Or do we just go straight? We just go straight. It's like, it's so quick to happen. These two candles, like 50 points down, a tiny move, down again, and now sideways for like, if we did what we did here, 9:46 to like an hour basically of sideways, we might go into an hour of sideways again before it does another thing. That's what gets a little bit tricky with the market. And, you know, should really want to reprice some of this up here, but you've got to think there must be a seller on the tape because they didn't let get to previous week point of control. They sold. They're now defending this. And every pop-up keeps getting sold into. Bulls will want to reclaim this to get here. There's not much aggressive selling at the lows. It's just passive selling like last week. I don't know. I don't think there's a whole lot of edge until there's moves outside of here. And volume's starting to really die off here as well. It's some of the smallest volume of the day now. It's like they've done the move and stopped. Let's see. One more move would be nice. How long we got? We only got 30 minutes left to lunch. Well, that will also play a part in it. Yeah, every pot being sold into still for now. $500s reclaim. Same thing. It's the same story here, folks. It's just IB, New York are the levels. Sellers are defending those levels. Buyers have not taken control of those levels. Every pop's being sold into. Look, again, every pop. Every single pop since we got to here has been sold into. So the last 30 minutes, every tiny pop is being sold into. You can see it on Bookmap. Every aggressive buy is being sold into passively. It's telling you the story right now. There is a seller on the tape dumping inventory at the moment. Until he's done, a bit like Friday, until he's done, we're going to struggle to move higher. Back into range. When he's done, maybe we move back into range. I'm surprised he's dumping at the lows is kind of what I'm saying. I'm surprised they've not done a bigger pullback and then he's dumped. But hey, this is what we've got in front of us. We can only trade what's in front of us. Right now, it just looks a little bit risky to do much. Again, buyers trying to pop it up and being passively sold into. Nothing to do here, folks. I'm not going to a sell this far away from VWAP. So this is what I'm saying is like the moves happen so quick. If you're not in them, you get stuck, sat on your hands. Like this is not A plus, and then they moved away, and then I mean you could argue you can short this IB, but after putting in this strong low with this delta, that is a very risky short. And now we've basically traded sideways. Buyers attempting again. Let's see if this passive seller is still on the book as they try and aggressively buy it up. So I see some compression here. These are the key levels. Through here, there's probably a bigger squeeze and relief. Until that point, I'd be very, very cautious because every pop has been sold into so far for the last 30 plus minutes. But if we start getting through it, you might get a bigger squeeze rotation. They are aggressively trying to buy this. And again, we are not moving higher at the moment, but they are aggressively trying to buy it. These are market orders coming flying in, trying to push us up, and they're not moving higher, not with any success right now. Sold into it again. There you go. Seller's still on the book. He is still on the book, folks. Till he's done, you can't think about much. I mean, I can't short here. This is too far away from anything for me to want to short, and I can't long here. This is just in a range, a bit like we had at the highs. I'm interested once we move out of this range. Buyer's trying to step in here again. What's that last high? 11s. Where's the top of that imbalance? 12s. And then move room to 20s, 28s. Okay, big buyers stepping in now. Now they're really, really forcing their way. This is leaving imbalances here. So let's see if they can reprice through IB or if they get met sell side here again. Still a passive seller. Like you can... Guys, I'm telling you, there's a fucking giant passive seller on the book. Every exuberant move up, every aggressive move by buyers up is just being met with a seller. And I can't actually see him on the level 2. So he's coming in and limit ordering and then adding and adding and adding. He's refresh limiting. Once he's done, you might get relief. At the moment, he's not done. Yeah, it's getting smacked every time. Yeah, like I said, someone's dumping their inventory. We should be squeezing higher, right? We should really be coming back through this after compression and then finding a seller here. But we're not. We're finding a seller down here. He's walking it down at the moment. He's trying to get the move into here, it feels. I don't know if he's stuck or if he's dumping inventory from the other day or what it is, but he's around. When he's done, maybe the squeeze higher happens, but at the moment it doesn't feel like he's done, does it? Every pop sold into over and over and over and over and over again. We've not moved out of the range. This is just like we did at the highs, like I talked about. Moving into these at the highs, we have compression. This is like this. Moving into this at the highs where we dumped, you'd expect us to move into this and then have a squeeze out. It's the same kind of play. Let's see. Is he done yet? Here's the 16s. Is he done? Do we go IB? Can we base over IB? I'd love to look for the long rotation on a failed IB, but it's just what if he comes in back up here again? Do you know what I mean? My news thing will not stop. It is going absolutely mental. Is someone talking again? Bye, darling. What time are you back? Okay. 3-month auction. Okay, he's still here. He is still here. Let me get this open. Reduce. He's still dumping inventory. $34. Oh man. You think they want to take London low? I mean, 457 is possible. It's possible. Very, very possible. I just think it's a battle down here. VIX looks like it's built that higher low now. It's starting to build out liquidity for a push higher here on the VIX. So I'd be watching that. Market overall still looks good. YM the weakest one again. Just no volume on that thing. No one's touching it. What's the 30-year doing? That's up pretty good. It's starting to look really dangerous for the market, in my opinion. If that completes that inverted head and shoulder, it is a game over market. That would take quite a few sessions to build out, though, I would have thought. Well, Adam, I don't know. I don't know, mate. he can be. He'll be an algo rather than a person. It will be an algo. It would be someone set on an algo of like dump this much every time it pops up this much. Which is why we can't really see him on the tape. He's harder to see. So back to the bottom side of this range that we build out. All right, this is literally exactly the same as up here, folks, but the opposite way. And the question is, do we break down into this, or are we going to reclaim and break up? Well, we're not playing longs because we haven't reclaimed, and I'm not playing shorts at the low of the range. This is your range, so very risky. And the multi-time frames are not in alignment. Remember, we're expecting an H1 pullback. That H1 pullback probably finishes, if not 430s, 400s, then you would expect it to finish into 365 to 288. If it fails to hold those, then I'd be very worried that we're not going to go all the way back down to previous day value area, which is hundreds of points lower. Remember, hundreds of points lower. All we're doing at the moment is trading inside previous week's value, which is why I'm expecting a rotational market. Yeah, level 2. Tony A, level 2. Cold, man. What's the weather saying? Nice outside. All right, how long we got left here? 20 minutes left. Not much going on. Slowed right down. Volume was slowed right down. Slow on the likes. Need to get those likes up, team. Bears still feel like they're in control for now. Drifting lower at the moment, it would seem. Yeah. Why wouldn't I stream Tuesday? We got a bank holiday or something. I missed something. Let me have a look. Vet day. Maybe not then. If the vol's low. No, then I won't. I'll take it off, and what I'll do is I'll work on the course. That would be better. More beneficial. All right, new low coming here by the looks of it. Hey, Tonio, thanks for joining. So yeah, like some of you pointed out, that London low 456. I'm more interested in this sort of RBS zone and volume zone, 400 low 400s down to, and then the next zone down to 350. So there's the break. They have just shorted low of day there. They have just shorted a lot at low of day there. And there's your London low taken. They did just short heavy into low of day there, folks. So if they have got caught, we will drift upside now. Big if. Yeah, all the volume was at the lows there. Point of control on that last candle. They will need to hold 60s. They will need to hold 60s to keep those sellers at the lows trapped. Otherwise, we're going to go lower again. If they can hold 60s, potential squeeze back out upside. This was a failed look below. Time will tell. We had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 minutes of selling from sort of 90 to 500, which is still being sold into. Here's the retest towards those 60s. And if they sell through 60s, we will break. If they hold 60s, they can potentially leave those low of day sellers trapped. But we're getting very close to lunch now. So breakthrough, I'd say a reclaim of 500s probably sees initial balance at this point. I'm not going to play it long, but you've built out a lot of volume above you now. All right, so if this is a look below the volume and a reclaim of this volume, you probably trade up to the other side of this volume. If you think about this, if we've just looked below this volume and we reclaim this volume, we will trade up to the other side of this volume. If we get above this volume, we will reprice to the next level of volume. Right now, we're not seeing it reclaim this edge here, are we? But if it reclaims, it probably trades up to 515s to test that side. So basically, it's basically like this kind of area here. Right, that's where it needs to make its decision from. The sellers will want to sell this edge. Buyers will want to reclaim it to get up to the next side. Sellers will want to then sell that edge. Buyers will want to get a push through it to reclaim IB. There's nothing to do here, folks. It's the volume has, well, it has picked up the last few minutes. Yeah, sellers are stuck underneath 60. These guys on the book right here. 60 lot, 170 lot, 155 lot. If they get let out, then we're just going to keep breaking down. So here's your 60 check. If they let these guys out, we just keep breaking down. This is strong selling on the tape here. Back to the edge of this range is the attempt. If they sell this, new low of day. If they sell through 60s, new low of day. At the moment, sellers are stuck under there, but it's a massive battle here, folks. And I genuinely don't know what they want to do. But what I do know is VIX is looking like it wants to break upside at the moment. It's built out that big old flag for, I don't know, how long's this? for almost an hour on the VIX, and if it breaks up, market will get heavy. So here's the attempt of reclaim of this volume. Can they get through this volume for a squeeze up to IB? We did just protect 60s. Those sellers are still trapped underneath 60 like we just talked about. Big ifs here, but it's what the market's trying to do. And if we can get through this, there's a chance to go to IB. Well, to the other side of range at least. So the grey box, you could go from grey box to the other side of grey box. Through the grey box, we go IB. Through IB, we go VWAP. Fail grey box, we go down to blue box. This is just like the, I don't know what you call it. It's just the rotations that are happening. It's not a particularly clean market. The best sell was what you was this right here. Was Alex's toilet sell. This little indication here was this volume, was this letting go. That's your sell opportunity. Not down here, really. It's not ideal. And the structure for a sell, does this look like good sell structure? This doesn't look like good sell structure to me. All right, good sell structure would be something like this. All right, trap above, fail, or even something like this. Not this, not just drip, not this guy selling passive, because when passive seller is done, squeeze out happens. So just cautious. Again, nothing for me. It's just that first. Is it one trade today? I think it was just that one trade. I think that's all I got. That's fine for a Monday. How long left? Almost done. 15 minutes. You're very quiet in chat today, folks. Not been a huge day, though. Not been a banger like last week. All right, sellers trying to come back in here aggressively. Remember, if they sell through 60, new low of day, I would expect. This is to the edge of the imbalance. Candle's getting a little bit thin in how they're operating here. I'm going to get a refill on the coffee. Aye. Just smashed my toe. Thanks, Tony. Yeah, don't worry, mate. I know you didn't mean to do it earlier. It is what it is. It's fine. We fixed it anyway. No big deal. All right, back to the other side of range. Trading between these two little places. Big seller here at 490. You can see him on the book. Big size. So into this grey box, we should, if they can find follow through and protect 80s now, we should try and drift up to 16s. If they're going to let it do it. POC on the 30. Yeah, I think through 90s, there's a potential move up towards 516-ish. But if we can't get through 90s, it's going to get in trouble because there's been a lot of volume traded at 90s now. If we get through 90s, we should go to the other side of this grey box, which is what it's now attempting to do, as you can see. So can they get through the 500s and get to the other side of the grey box? And if we get to the other side of the grey box, then we should go to the initial balance. And if we get through the initial balance, then we can potentially think about New York Open. If we get through the New York Open, then we can think about the other VWAP above. All right, so grey box reclaimed, look below grey box. They are going to attempt, it is definitely thick into here, into 500. You can see this little peak out, but they will attempt to rotate to the other side of the grey box here. Okay, liquidity, 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 liquidity. Look below, failed, reclaim this node here. All right, if they can hold this, they will attempt to do this move here. You are getting some compression here, but it can take a while to sort of pan out, and you're in 10 minutes into lunch. Not the ideal time to be taking a new trade, I would say, but I'm just saying what I'm seeing right now. Buyers again, though, they just attempted to get through that 500s and failed. If you're on a 30-minute chart looking at volume profile, you will see that 90s is the biggest level for this current 30-minute bar, and then through that is the 504s, and then through that is IB. So these are kind of the levels right now. No acceptance below 70, and we can't get through 500. So trading between those two for now. Alex, have you seen that London got voted the best city for 2026? That can't be true. Is that true? Who voted for that? Who voted for that? Based on what? Like, maybe if you like getting stabbed. Best city for 2026. If you like getting stabbed, verbally abused, having your house depreciate in price, paying for increased council tax when they don't do anything, waiting to see your doctor on the NHS for 100 years before being seen, taxed to the maximum. Best city. Oh, get out of it. The only person voting for that is blind and deaf. And even they wouldn't vote for it, because if they wanted a hospital appointment for being blind and deaf, they'd never be seen. What a joke. Keir Starmer's definitely gone to town on someone for that. A nice little backhander with all our tax money has gone to someone to get that paid for. What a joke. What a joke. I can't believe that. Exactly, Adam. I know I upset my mum this week because I told her, I was like, I am never coming back, Mum. I'm really sorry. It's never going to happen. She's always, when are you coming home? And I love my mum to bits, but I can't go back to that city. No chance. And in fact, I tell you what, if they change the legislation where they're going to tax houses over 500,000, I will get pinched. Second homes, foreign investment, and they're going to put up NI. Well, I tell you what, I'm a prime example of what's going to happen. I will sell my house, I will move my businesses, and they will not tax me, and they will not get any money out of me, and I am a small fish. Times that by millions and millions of people through the UK, and you are going to be left with an economy full of people who aren't happy and full of entrepreneurs no longer entrepreneurs who own businesses, who employ people. You're going to be stuck in this socialist, depressive, grey, rainy country, which is broken. That's what's going to happen. What a shame. Are there any signals to spot how the sellers is happy and left? Friday before market end, I catch the move up, but could catch a better position if I saw it earlier. Yeah, I'll go over it in the chart, but basically what you're looking for is exhaustion at the lows And then for the passive selling not to be met with anything. So like, for example, we're not seeing it today. In fact, let's go to Friday. Let's go to Friday. You can see it at the lows. Okay. This was a level of interest, Friday. What have we said for weeks? For weeks or months? 25K to 24,700 rotation, right? Anyone who's read the newsletter for the last few months, when we were back here before, where's the low? Right into the 700s. Right into the 700s. The delta down here started to flip. It went from heavy sell delta on this drive down, and here we got absorption. And at this point here, all the sellers down here got knocked out. This is a big move back upside, big squeeze, and what held this pivot, all right, where the sellers were trapped, all right? And this is not hindsight, all right? We took that in the Discord. I can show you. Roll up. Right, we got long in that. Okay, here is what I was looking for. I think I even put it on and then said it. Right here. Right, we talked about it. Right here. All right, once we start moving away, pull back to hold, low volume node, sellers trapped underneath, expansion higher, added into it. I talked through the whole thing, and then DJ locked in. I locked in 1,000. DJ rode the whole thing up for hours. Everyone taking this move all the way up, and locked in $10,000. So yes, you can absolutely see it. Starting to see it now. That move away now. Oh my God, into lunch. Okay, back to the other side of grey box. They're trying it. They're trying it, folks. They're trying to get back to the other side of that grey box. Like we just talked about. They're trying to do it. 500s here. Big buying on that last candle. So if the next dip holds, you would expect they're going to go for IB. Where was this pivot from? 85s. Yeah, basically 90s. Coffee real fit. Yeah, it's been true, isn't it? He gets a coffee, we go higher. He uses the bathroom, we go lower. Yeah, it has actually happened today. Crazy. It's a crazy. Remember, if we get through IB, there is more room above. Pullbacks would need to hold because this is a little bit squeezy off those lows. But if you can hold the pullbacks into 84 with tests here, if we get through here, I think there is a move up into here that's possible today, like we were talking about. But yeah, you can wait for flow zones to flip. That was the other thing that happened Friday. If you were just patient, the flow zones gave you the signal. There's your buy, and there's the upside. Once they flipped, made it easier. He's starting to see it now, folks. So back to IB we go. Back to the other side of grey box, right? So if you took this, TP1 is here, you're at grey box, volume. And if we reclaim volume and we reclaim IB and New York Open, then a bigger squeeze is very, very possible here. This is everything we were just talking about. You got 1 minute now until Trump. So you can see right to the other side of grey box. Where did they sell? Right to the other side of grey box. So some profit taking here from me squeeze through this. Have you got more news coming that I've missed? Sorry. Why are these house speakers like... Shush. You got Trump talking as well, have you? So from one side of this range, look below and fail, reclaim to the other side of this range. I think there's potentially a move up here this afternoon. Here you go. So here's your IB. So if you're in this, you're now laughing. I'd be looking for a continuation through the New York Open, and if you get through that New York Open to the next VWAP, like we talked about for the last hour, you're starting to see it develop now, and possibly up into this level, and possibly up to 600s. All right, so compression. Here's your compression. Like we said, this is not good selling. This is someone just walking it down. Once they're done with it, here's the flip from sell to buy delta. Here's the reclaim. And now if dips start to hold, this is your key level, IB, reclaim IB. That VWAP is possible. Fail IB, they're going to come and retest this same level. All right, this here, this volume where we got thick. But if they hold that, or they hold here and reclaim this, I think that's possible today. And maybe even that. Wouldn't put it past them. IB again here, folks. I'd watch that New York Open as well. Watch that New York Open. So unfortunately, while I was teaching, I've missed this whole play, but it's possible it plays out for you. So if any of you took that long, like we were talking about, from bottom of grey box to top of grey box to initial balance, through initial balance to the New York Open to the VWAP, you might get expansion higher here. You might really get the 600s like we talked about. But again, it was planned out for you. All you have to do is follow the thing. Reclaim this, top side of the box. Reclaim this, up here. 600s, not out the question. So VWAP coming up here is your TP, VWAP and New York, and then through that, runners for expansion all the way up to the next VWAP. Here you go. There's your New York Open. So you can see they just sold into that a little bit. As long as you've taken some profit here, you look pretty good. Really nice. So it's all planned out for you. And you just have to see what you get now. Make sense though? Does it make sense for you all? Hopefully that teaching's made sense at the very least. But yeah, W's in chat if you took some of this. Looks good. Like honestly, if you reclaim this, you'd be aiming for these levels here and really a revisit of this, because this is thin structure here, how we moved away. Remember I said we didn't build structure out here. This is a straight move down into compression. If they reclaim this, they can go straight move back up. It is possible that they revisit this, because I think we are in rotation. Here's the rotation. Here's the rotation. So you want to trade from one edge, if possible, to the other. The same way you traded from here to here. If possible, you want to trade from this low up into there if it will allow it. Yeah, some of you getting it. Nice, folks. Hopefully it made sense. Like, this is what you should have been looking for. These were the signatures to look for. But it looks good. And you know, maybe in lunch they just let it drift back up. I don't know what they're going to do. But it's possible. Us, 2 trades I've missed now. While I teach you all, this is the one thing. It's definitely the one thing I'm aware of. When I get caught teaching, I miss opportunities. I've got to value myself. Not in a horrible way, but I have to be a bit more focused on trading sometimes. Because this is now a really nice trade. Like on a reclaim here, 80s. Look at that. That's a 60-point trade to here. And you could hold this. And you might get this expansion all the way up here. It would not surprise me in the slightest. But now I'm too late to join. I can't chase. But yeah, look at it. Beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. And I forget who asked it. Someone asked, how do you see it? Look at this delta down here. At the lows, look at this delta here. Move back to buy. And we're going straight. All these shorts are getting squeezed out now. Guess where we're coming? New York VWAP and 615s. Here you go. So New York VWAP coming up. IB to VWAP. That rotation there happening. And then if you're lucky, you get all the way up here. Fantastic, guys. Congratulations if you took it. I would have taken this trade. I was more saying I don't know what they're going to do until they do it. I can build. How can I put this fresh? I take the trades when they're there. So if I wasn't teaching, I would have definitely taken this long. Okay. When it was here, I was like, I don't know what they're going to do. If they want to do this, fine. If they want to do this and this, fine. But that doesn't mean you don't take this long. It means you take the long, you risk this, you TP1, TP2, TP3, TP4, fantastic. But it was more that when we were here, I was looking at trying to show you Friday's chart to show you what I was looking for. But yeah, nice work, folks. I don't care. I've made my money today. I don't care, folks. I'm up like a good few thousand today. It's no biggie, no biggie. All right, into VWAPs. All right, so just so you know, on Bookmap, I have my VWAP is here at 65s. So we're there or thereabouts. So don't be a dick for a tick. VIX failing nicely as well. You look good. You've made your money here. You should be locking some in here. Expect a pullback after a violent move higher. And if you want to add into this, you would need this level here to hold, right? This shelf, right? You do not want to see a drift into here. No, thank you very much, right? If you're thinking about a bullish rotation, you'd want this area here, sorry, this top of this volume here would need to be holding, right? 820s, 520s, you'd need to be holding. And if it holds a dip into there and offers you something nice, then you can look for that move all the way up here, and that would be a 90-point move all the way back up there. But otherwise, you're already in this long and you're just holding for the squeeze. This is a squeeze out. Why? These are shorts. All these shorts, obsessed with getting down here, are now caught, aren't they? All right, and the only reason that did this move at all was that there was a passive seller willing to sell every pop. Well, he was probably finished. This move here was probably him done, right? And lots of selling. The biggest selling of the day, if we go back to Bookmap, happened at that low. Are you on Bookmap here? Here you go. Here you go. There's your VWAP. Right, biggest selling happened at low of day. Look at this low of day. Look at this guy here. Huge selling at the low, and we moved away from him. That's them stuck. And now we are going to continue to squeeze them out until the squeeze is finished, and then we will pull back after the squeeze. So your next TP's hit. Now I'd be holding on for 610s here if you can. I was Raf. Like I should have been taking it, and I just got caught teaching. It's my fault. It's my fault. I got caught teaching. It's something I do need to be conscious of because it's well, now it's cost me 90 points. It's all right. It's all right. It's not a big deal. All right, so make sure you've paid yourself here. Your runners now for here, and then if they really want to finish the completion, then you can think about maybe previous week point of control. But I would definitely be taking like 50-60% off here, another 10-20% off in front of 612s, and then if you're lucky, you get a mega squeeze. If you're lucky. Did not expect anything after that little scalp out earlier. I missed the short and thought that was it for the day. But you got this one fresh. I'm assuming you got this one. Nice, ET. Glad you got it. JJ, good work. Looked like the trade on Friday gave me the same result. Where are you in the competition now, Noah? Nice, Priska. Love it. All my students doing well. Troy, good work. Expect a pullback here. Expect a pullback here. All right, it's a straight squeeze up. Like I said, you'd want the pullback to hold 20s now. At the worst. If it does a shallow pullback, great. But you would not want to be long underneath this shelf now. Okay, because this is the high probability move. This is like Friday, right? The pullback would need to hold this shelf here for this rotation. The difference with Friday is we've got all this up here, right? Friday, we didn't have anything until 400 points higher or something, right? So end of the squeeze, you can see everyone covering now, and it will need to hold this at worst. If it holds this, great. It would need to hold this at worst because this is a clear out of these stops. If we come into here, I would no longer be bullish. This would be a very bearish move if they allow it back into that volume. And we're into lunch. Gosh, that went quick. We're well into lunch. How are we doing for the likes? Do we need to roll them over? We're going to have to roll it over again. We're going to have to roll over the likes. All right, going to call it for the day here, folks. Let's see what you guys are saying. Caught some short and some long. Nice, Caps. I took the long, but I got stop break even before it ran out. How can I avoid getting stopped early? Kevin, I don't know where you took it or where your stop was. But what I would say is if you took it on the first attempt here, all right, then technically your risk needs to be low of day. So if you got stopped there, that's why. If you took it here and you got stopped out here, fine, but this was the best entry, right? Break of trend, delta flip, volume coming back in. You can always get back in. Even if you stop out, you can always get back in. That's the big thing that I try and tell traders as a reminder. As long as you're in control, if you've taken this long here for the reclaim, let's say you took this and you stopped out here. Okay, fine. But has anything validated that you can't get back in? No. Here's the compression. Here's the drives. Look, 1, 2, 3. This actually did 4 this morning. 1, 2, 3. This is actually 4, and then roll. It's the same thing, right? And then this clears out all of this. Flip that on its head. This clears out all of this. Exactly the same. It's exactly the same. It's just it's the inverse of this. This is why I'm saying I think we're just going to go into a rotational market. Uptrend, 3 drives, 1, 2, 3. Actually ended up being 4. This dump takes out this liquidity. 1, 2, 3. You could argue 4. This drive takes out all this liquidity. Back to midpoint. So it's a mirror image. If you split this in half right here, I bet you it's 50%. If you split it in half, we are mirroring. Pretty close. This is the same as this, right? Always get back in. As long as the trade thesis is valid, you can always get back in. I was 200. I was under 200, but took a bad trade, so I'm now targeting 200 again. Oh, top 200. I understand. Got a couple nice wins today. Thanks, Alex. You're welcome, Brandon. You're welcome, Bart. Nice, Omalabi. No worries, full forward. Do it for us. Do it for us to learn, is that? Not sure what you mean. No worries, fresh. All right, folks. So, look, you're coming back to that level. Bulls need to hold that level. Simple as this. This is the high low must hold here. All right, this is what I'd be looking for the remainder of the day. If you hold this, you're looking for a drift to 610s. Failing this, I'd be risk off. I would not touch it at this point because they will build liquidity here, and if they break down, they've got targets below. All right, so bullish all the time. You're holding over the top of sort of 515s. This shelf here. All right, all the time you're holding this, I would remain bullish. This is your first pullback for a next move higher. If they fail that, risk off, don't touch it. All right, team? And I will see you guys again tomorrow in the morning. We're going to try and be calm this week. You would have noticed the end of last week I was getting agitated. I was very tired and chat was frustrating. I think trying to build the course while trying to teach, while trying to trade, I've got to sort out my attitude sometimes. But yeah, let's have a good week together, folks, and make lots of money. And that's all we've got to do, right? If the opportunity's there, we'll make money. If there's no opportunity, we won't make money. I think the back end of this week is going to be very violent. I think that CPI print could raise a few eyebrows. All right, team? Go on then, Robson. Go on then. One question before I go. Stick it in the chat. Last question before I go. I need to get some food and some fresh air. Oh, for Bookmap, yes. I think FCT will work. Let me check for you. Just checking. Sorry, mate. Let me log in. Where would I see it for you? That's my login. Trying to find it for you, sorry. Affiliate. Let's see what the link is. It's Flowzone Trader. That's what they've done it as. Here, I'll stick it in chat. That link I just put in, I think that should give you a discount. I'm not sure. I can't tell you what it is. See if they say on there. I don't think it actually says anywhere. Yeah, I can't see it saying what percentage off, but I'm sure it will give you like 10 or 20% off, I would hope. Maybe not on the monthly payouts. It probably depends what you get. Sorry, bud. Hope that helps, but no worries if not. I see your buy signal, but for some reason I'm not getting that on Flowzone. Have you got it activated, mate? Have you got the Pro? Are you using the Pro? Are you on Flowzone Pro, System Pro, or are you on the old, or are you on the one that comes free with the course? If you're on Flowzone System Pro, it should come up. Might even come up on the other one. But yeah, it will be here. Buy, sell. It should be there, so worth checking that. Yeah, if you're on Flowzone Pro System, Flowzone Pro System definitely has it. Just go into, double click on the flow zones and go to style, and then it will say in there. Okay, team. Oh yeah, Veterans Day today, so tomorrow. So maybe what is open today for tomorrow for Vets Day? Oh, the market's actually, it's holding its full pullback pretty well here. Let me just check, because maybe I won't do tomorrow. Let's see. Is it normal trading hours? Bonds are closed. If NSE and stocks are open, I'll trade. Banks and bonds. Bond market closed. Bar talks. I tell you what, we'll get up. I'll tell you what we'll do. We'll get up and I'll do the pre-market show. And if there's volume, we'll trade. Okay? If there's volume, we'll trade. If the volume is absolutely dead and we're trading in a tightened range, we'll leave it alone and I'll just work on the course for you guys. Because I don't want to trade in a tightened range if there's no volume, especially when the ATR on the daily has been massive. Because you got to think the last, we were printing 400 plus points ATR. If we end up doing an inside day tomorrow of like 60 to 100 points, there's absolutely no problem. No reason for us to trade it. None. Discord stream kind of day. I'd rather build the course for you if possible, because it's hard for me to get ahead, because I need to do the course when the market's open, because I need to show you the level 2 because it's really important. But yeah, all right, team. Those in Discord, I'll see you later. Everyone else, I will see you tomorrow morning. If you're interested in supporting the stream, all the links are down below. All that money goes back into the stream. Thanks for joining me today. Hopefully you made some good money on both sides of the trade. Long this morning, you could have shorted the breakdown, and you could have taken this long on the reclaim as well. So all planned out for you ahead of time. Trade safe this afternoon. We do have some news, and I would be somewhat careful. Let me just get this up because I want you guys to be prepared. So that pullback's holding. You look good now. I'd be watching to try and see if you can get up to the 610s, even over lunch. If they do, it'd be great. Yes, what I'd be careful of is if anything gets released this week that's been backdated. So we drew numerous CPI reports, at least 2 NFP reports. I don't know when those are going to get released. I have no idea. But if those hit the market, they will be a shock no matter what. So please be careful. You've got to be trading with stops. If you're not trading with stops, you're just asking to get hurt in this market. All right, you're really asking for it. And like, keep referring to the weekly newsletter. All the levels are in there. All right. Peace and love, everyone. See you tomorrow morning. Everyone in Discord, I'll catch up with you in there shortly. All right, take care.